here from the Claremont Showground Speedway in Perth. The second round and the first heat of the Series 500 International Speedway Masters, the world's biggest speedway bike tournament. This is the first of 12 qualifying heats before each rider is seeded into his respective final. And this first heat brings together the three world champions. Tony Rickardsson, the defending Series 500 champion in 1994, world title holder, starts second from the inside line on the left-hand side of screen. Beside him, one of Australia's big hopes, Lee Adams. Then beside him, Jason Crump, Queensland's newly crowned world under-21 champion. And keep your eyes on the dashing Dane, Jan Stackman on the extreme outside. The tapes fly in the first heat of round two here at Claremont Showground. And Tony Rickardsson was the best to begin. Jason Crump now screaming around the outside. And Lee Adams also quickly into stride. And look at the Dane, Jan Stackman. He's right in the centre of them, making it a line of three as they head out of turn number 4 for the first time. Rickardsson takes them across the start-finish line at the end of the first racing lap. He leads now by about 3 metres. Lee Adams is in second spot, followed further back in third by Jan Stackman, who's been able to give Jason Crump the go-by for the time being. And Stackman, noticeably there, has a liking to the high line here at Claremont Speedway. Tony Rickardsson, the race leader, has a look over the left shoulder as he brings the field down the main straight for the second last time. Yellow flag now on display. There's one lap of this huge 570-metre Claremont venue to run. And Rickardsson, as you can see on screen, is now starting to boot away. He leads Lee Adams by a good 10 metres. And now Jan Stackman starts to close one more time. But Tony Rickardsson, the 25-year-old Swede, takes victory in heat number 1 at the second round of this tournament. Jan Stackman almost got into second spot, but Adams just managed to last right on the line. Rickardsson, Adams and Stackman. Second heat brings together another quality field of 6 riders. Simon Wigg, without a doubt the man to watch in the green leathers, starting on the right-hand side of your screen, second from the outside, the 5 times world long track champion. Up go the tapes, and predictably so, Simon Wigg got a great start. Sydney's former world number 3, Craig Boyce, left languishing there at the start. Greg Bartlett, that is in the blue helmet colour. He charges up into second on the circuit, followed on the outside by Marvin Cox, an English rider who lives in Germany. And that trio now blasts off turn number 4 here at Claremont. And what about the pace? They're running like lightning here at the moment. Simon Wigg crosses from the outside, then runs down on the inside of the circuit. A terrific battle developing now between Marvin Cox and Greg Bartlett. Bartlett, the local West Australian rider who will represent this state right across the country in this 10-round tournament this summer. Wigg on the Fraser Motorcycles, Torco Oils Jawa, rockets up the main straight here at Claremont through turns 1 and 2 one more time. A gaggle of motorcycles now battling for the minor placings. Marvin Cox is second and best of the rest, followed further back in third by Bartlett. Bartlett now runs down on the inside of Marvin Cox as they approach the last couple of corners in this one. Simon Wigg has certainly got the victory. Bartlett pushes Marvin Cox up track as they come down to the checkered flag, and it was Bartlett in fact that got second, marginally ahead of Marvin Cox in what was a rib-tickling finish. Heat number 2, Simon Wigg the victor, the 5 times world long track champion. Heat number 3 now. Next on the program, Sam Ermolenko, a rider to watch from the extreme outside, the American 1993 World Speedway champion. Another very good field here. The Flying Finn, Ollie Tervainen was the best to begin. One of the older statesmen in this field. He's 34 years of age, has been riding at the top level of this sport for some 15-odd years. And Tervainen, who had a terrible tour down under last year, is certainly running white hot tonight. He heads down the main straight for the first time. Ermolenko moves down very smartly on the inside, and he and the Finn run down the back straight now almost side by side. In fact, it's a virtual drag race here between Tervainen and Sam Ermolenko. They're clashing elbows, exchanging tyre brands as they come now off turn 4 for yet another occasion. Now moving up into third spot on the circuit is Charles Ermolenko. So we've got the elder and the younger brother in the top 3 in this race so far. Sam Ermolenko heads them down the back straight for the final time. Ollie Tervainen is certainly very quick out of there, getting maximum drive. You can almost throw a tally-ho over the 4 of these guys. Andy Smith now blasting around the outside when it's all over. But Sam Ermolenko will just last. Tervainen runs down on the inside, but the win did go to Sam Ermolenko. Ollie Tervainen in second, followed further back in third by Charles Ermolenko and Andy Smith, the very fast finishing Andy Smith, the reigning British champion, finishing in 4th spot. Heat number 4, your qualifying heats. We're getting through them fairly quickly. Trust you're enjoying the action wherever you might be watching around Australia. Lee Adams returns to battle here inside line. Australia's triple dual national champion and former world under-21 champion. He starts on the inside of a very good field. Greg Bartlett on the extreme outside. He and Marvin Cox got very close together on the circuit. Look at this racing as they head down the back straight the first time, like the charge of the proverbial Light Brigade. That is Glenn Doyle rocketing around the outside. 6 times champion of Western Australia. Former dual national champion Lee Adams now comes back on the inside and subsequently carts Doyle right up track. Doyle got off the go pedal there momentarily, and Marvin Cox, who got into all sorts of bother on the first corner, has made up a stack of ground and now settles down in third on the circuit. Well, Lee Adams from Mildura in Victoria is the race leader. Heading off turn number 4, I'll tell you what, Glenn Doyle certainly doesn't give up. He's fighting very hard on the extreme outside here in what is the world's biggest speedway bike tournament. 16 riders from 9 countries. 9 of them have been chosen to compete in the World Championship in 1996. They've qualified in the Elite 16, and 5 of this field are world champions. Lee Adams now comes out of turn number 4. Doyle has not given up on the inside, but it won't be good enough as they run down to the checkered flag. Lee Adams gets there, marginally ahead of Glenn Doyle, with Greg Bartlett, Doyle's fellow West Australian, further back in third. So Lee Adams running particularly well tonight here at Claremont in the second round of 10. Heat number 5. Man to watch on the outside, Ollie Tervainen. He's been particularly fast in the opening round at Bunbury last night and so far at Claremont. This field also includes the 1994 world champ Tony Rickardsson. The tapes flew there. A problem for the young Californian Charles Ermolenko. He didn't get away from the starting tapes. No such problems for Craig Boyce, though. Former Sydney world number 3. He takes the race lead. And look at Ollie Tervainen, will you? He is carting that motorcycle up high, wide and handsome on the circuit. Terrific speedway as they thunder down the main straight here at Claremont. Out of turn number 4, Rickardsson switches lines. He gives Ollie Tervainen the go-by. Now he goes up on the inside of the challenge, Sydney's Craig Boyce. But look at Tervainen once again. He winds up the horsepower and spread eagles down the back straight. You can throw a blanket over this trio. They are tightly packed as they come off turn number 4. Craig Boyce on the skilled engineering GM does a fabulous job and works his way up the main straight. The O'Brien aluminium Jower of Tony Rickardsson is best of the rest. He's in second, running up high on the circuit. One gets the feeling that Ollie Tervainen is going to move down on the inside very quickly. Craig Boyce is under siege though inside the last couple of corners. He's the race leader. Tony Rickardsson trying extremely hard. He switches lines. Boyce has a quick look over the left shoulder. He just gets there. Rickardsson finishing very strongly right on the line. A terrific race, that one, exemplifying the standard of racing in this world-class Series 500 Masters tournament. Boyce, Rickardsson and Tervainen, the top 3 in that one. Heat number 6 once again sees Simon Wigg return to the circuit. This is the final heat in the second round of heats. Jens Stackman also one to watch here, as is Jason Crump. Wait for the tapes now. Up they go. Another 6 riders fire their 500cc machines into life. Early race leader is Jason Crump, back straight away for the first time. Jens Stackman very consistent tonight, quickly into second spot. And look at Simon Wigg. You couldn't ride any closer to the concrete wall if you tried. Wiggy right around the outside. He's going to attempt a sweep by on the outside of Jason Crump here. But Crump's got plenty of horsepower in his O'Brien aluminium sponsored motorcycle. He runs through turns 1 and 2. Got just a little bit out of shape there. That's enabled Simon Wigg to come up on equal terms with him. They touch elbows down the back straight. And Jens Stackman is also not too far away, as always. One of the most consistent riders in the world, Jens Stackman. He noticeably there chooses to run down very low on the circuit. Simon Wigg in the meantime rockets around the outside. Jens Stackman now throws out the challenge to the 5 times world long track champion. And Wigg, though, full of running, heads down the back straight, leading by a good 5 metres. Stackman's going to come back, you can be assured of that. So too is Jason Crump, the 5 times world champ, the Grand Master of Speedway. Simon Wigg off turn number 4. He takes it in a beauty. Checkered flag for him. Jens Stackman home in second, followed further back in third by Jason Crump. Emphatic victory there to Simon Wigg. Heat number 7 brings together some terrific speedway riders. Craig Boyce, Sydney's former world number 3. Tony Rickardsson, 25 years of age. Former Swedish and world speedway champion. Wait for the tapes, the green light's on, away they go. A pretty good even start. They all got away on equal terms. Moving over onto the inside is the 1993 world champion Sam Ermolenko. Then on the outside of him is Ryan Sullivan, sweeping by into second on the circuit. And Craig Boyce takes the early race lead. Look at this, will you, as they pour off turn number 4. The crowd here at Claremont well and truly on their feet. Craig Boyce sitting back well and truly on the motorcycle to make sure he obtains maximum traction and gets the drive down to the back wheels. The skilled engineering Series 500 machine sweeps onto the back straightaway. A terrific battle for second and third in this one, as we now see on the inside there, losing some ground, Ryan Sullivan, and sweeping around the extreme outside as they chase Craig Boyce down the main straight with 1 lap to run is, of course, Glenn Doyle. Good speedway here, as we're now inside the last racing lap, and Craig Boyce is the race leader. Looking now for Glenn Doyle. I don't think he's got time to do anything about the rather convincing lead that Craig Boyce has got. Tony Rickardson finishing very strongly when it's all over. He's off the pace tonight by his very high standards, but Craig Boyce takes that one in a canter. A very easy victory for him. Glenn Doyle in second, Tony Rickardson finishing in third. Pretty swift race time there, with Craig Boyce winning yet again here tonight at Claremont in terrific fashion. Heat number 8 was certainly getting through them. Just 4 more heats, 5 including this one, to complete the qualifying process before we head towards the all-important finals. Rider to watch here, Yuri Stancil, just 20 years of age from the Czech Republic. He starts on the inside in red, and once again a world-class field. I've already told you the facts about this series, including 5 world champions, and there goes the tape. Simon Wigg and Marvin Cox got away almost together. They run down the back straight. This is another drag race, and now moving up rapidly in third spot looks to me to be Jason Crump, Australia's newly crowned world under-21 champion. Well, Marvin Cox, an Englishman who races in Germany, in fact is based in Germany, former European champion, is the race leader. Simon Wigg got a little bit crossed up there as he entered the entry into turn number 1. Marvin Cox boots away. He's a terrific long track rider, this guy, very capable at speedway, all long track, and that's one of the reasons he was one of the first guys chosen in this invitational only event. Marvin Cox out of turn number 4. He's got a real challenger behind him though, in the shape of Simon Wigg, who's a never say die campaigner. Jason Crump now under heavy pressure further back in third from Yuri Stancil, the second generation Czech star. No doubting though the race leader Marvin Cox. A couple of corners for him now to negotiate, and Simon Wigg is certainly going to have to cop a second place in this one. A good ride by Marvin Cox, lifts the right leg, he's jubilant and takes the checkered flag. Simon Wigg in second, followed back in third by Jason Crump, who was able to hold off a very determined charge by young Yuri Stancil from the Czech Republic. A cracking time and a great victory there by Marvin Cox. Next event, heat number 9. Andy Smith, triple and reigning British champion, starts on the inside. Greg Bartlett on the extreme outside. Another good field and another good start there by Jan Stackman, who swept straight around the outside. There goes your early race leader though, Andy Smith, under heavy pressure though from Lee Adams now, who rockets around the outside, the former world under-21 champ and former Commonwealth champion, doing a terrific job. He's hanging on like grim death there in an effort to try and get around the outside of Andy Smith, but Smith's a fairly cagey campaigner. He's been around for a long time, but Adams ends up giving him the slingshot down on the inside. Now looking at this other rider blasting around the outside of the third spot. That's the Finnish flyer. I refer, of course, to Olli Tuvainen, who's running particularly well here tonight at Claremont. A great race up front, though. Lee Adams and Andy Smith are swapping positions. Andy Smith finds himself back in front one more time. This is going to require Lee Adams to dig deep. He turns on the throttle, and he now boots away down the back straight, and this is Olli Tuvainen now starting to join as they head through the top couple of corners for the final time. Lee Adams is the race leader. Tuvainen working very hard. Andy Smith also there. They go to the line locked together. Adams got the victory. Tuvainen just lasted in second spot ahead of Andy Smith in another world-class speedway event here at one of the best venues in the world, Claremont Showground in Perth. Heat number 10. Tony Rickardson, who's got a fair bit of work to do. Defending Series 500 champion, won this tournament when conducted for the first time across Australia early in 1995. Up go the tapes. Let's see how this one pans out. Young Yuri Stancil got a fairly ordinary start on the extreme outside. He's dropped back to near last already. As always, Jan Stackman, one of the first to begin. There goes Lee Adams and Tony Rickardson and Jason Crump. Well, who would you like to pick here? 4 of them now work their way off turn number 4, and already Yuri Stancil has started to come up and make a fairly bold challenge, and 5 of them go down the end of the main straight absolutely locked together. Race leader for Series 500 is Lee Adams, who obtained sponsorship from that organisation this year, and he's also riding brand new Jowers supplied to him by Fraser Imports in South Australia. He's certainly doing them proud at the moment as Adams works his way out of turn number 4. He has been succeeded through to next year's World Championship by virtue of his outstanding performances and consistency in 1995. He leads them down the back section. Jens Stackman, now Tony Rickardsson, the former world champion. He gets plenty of drive out of turn number 2, and he sweeps by on the inside of Adams that quickly that Adams almost caught pneumonia with the breeze. Adams comes back at him now, but Rickardsson gets there on the line and wins by a will nut. Lee Adams in second. Further back in third was Jens Stackman, who's been one of the most consistent here tonight at Claremont. But a terrific win there by Tony Rickardsson. Heat number 11. A clash of the champions. Craig Boyce, who finished third in the World Championship at Boyens in Denmark in 1994. Marvin Cox and also Simon Wigg. They are the trio to watch here. They've all been white hot tonight. Up go the starting tapes. This is the second last qualifying heat. And Simon Wigg, as only he can do, crosses from the extreme outside, running at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Look at Craig Boyce now getting maximum drive out of turn number 2. And this Sydney sider, multiple New South Wales champion, former national champion, former world number 3, now serves it right up to the 5 times world champion. And Boyce now moves down on the inside, and he went by Wiggy a lot quicker than I think that Simon Wood would have expected, or Simon Wigg would have expected. And Boyce is running like lightning. Look at this boy go. He's about 14, 15, maybe 16 metres in front as he heads out of turn number 4. Simon Wigg is second and best of the rest. That's him on the inside line you're watching now. And the man to keep an eye on is Marvin Cox, racing in the blue helmet colour. He's in third spot at the moment and closing on Simon Wigg fairly quickly. Well, Craig Boyce, almost like long track style, got the head right over the top of the handlebars. There goes Marvin Cox now, as predicted, sweeping around the outside. Now he crosses back to the inside as they race to the line. This will be very close. Cox got there. Boyce won the race, but Marvin Cox pipped Simon Wigg for second right on the post, relegating the Englishman from Buckinghamshire back to third right on the line in another terrific speedway event here at Claremont. This is the final qualifying heat, heat number 12. The all-important C, B and A finals coming your way on the other side of this. Trust you're enjoying the highlights of the second round of the Series 500 World Series from Claremont Showground in Perth. The Speedway bikes are back with vengeance, no doubt about that. Tapes now fly in heat number 12. And 1993 world title holder Sam Ermolenko from California was the best to begin. Let's watch them charge down the back straight now. No place for the faint-hearted. Glenn Doyle is there, so too is Ollie Trevainen as they work their way off turn number 4. Glenn Doyle, former dual national champion, works his way up in the second on the circuit. That's Ollie Trevainen riding in on with race jacket number 13 on his back. He moves up into third. In the meantime, though, Sam Ermolenko has gone. A good race so for second and third. Doyle's got the best of it for the moment, but Ollie Trevainen, very courageous, quite skillful. He's not going to give in without a fight. The Coney shock absorbers entry of Sam Ermolenko heads off turn number 4, and he chases down the main straight away in quest of perhaps another 3-lap record here. He's moving very quickly. Glenn Doyle is riding defensively, has a look over the left shoulder there, moves down track. So Ollie Trevainen decides to run up higher on the circuit. There's no catching though Sam Ermolenko on this one. He works his way down to the main straight. A good win by him, or will stand there in sheer delight, relegating Glenn Doyle back to second and Ollie Trevainen finishing a very strong third. Now the finals. C final, the first of the finals for the guys that qualified in the bottom 6. This will be a 4-lap journey. Andy Smith, desperate to do well here at Claremont, comes here with a big international reputation. He starts on the inside line. Charles Ermolenko's had a pretty indifferent night by his standards. We go racing, and Andy Smith is the race leader. Now, the man on the outside of him is Peter Karlsson from Sweden. He's been a little quiet tonight, struggling to adapt to some of these bigger circuits. And now moving around the outside is Georgie Stansel. Yuri Stansel, in fact. We call him Georgie here in Australia. He moves up into third on the circuit. At the end of the first racing lap, though, the race leader is Andy Smith, the first Englishman to win 3 consecutive British titles. He's dragging the left leg there. Not exactly the right style for a speedway rider. You're better off floating the left leg towards the front wheel, adjacent to the front wheel. And Andy Smith, though, by the same token, it's pretty quick out there. He comes off turn number 4. Peter Karlsson goes down on the inside of the racetrack, trying to find a way by. And it's a pretty good race here in the C final. Andy Smith, though, boots away. He's a rider also that can combine speedway with long track racing activities. And let's face it, this Claremont Showground is somewhere in between both of those. Out of turn number 4 comes Andy Smith. Peter Karlsson still in second spot, followed further back in third by Yuri Stansel. And there's no change in the order as they work their way to the back straight for the final time. It is the British champion from York, Andy Smith, back straight away. No change in the order here. And Andy Smith's going to do this one in a cakewalk, let me tell you. Leads Peter Karlsson by a good 10 metres, and in fact pulling away on the line. Andy Smith goes down and takes the checker. He's had a colourful career here at Claremont Speedway, one of the most popular international riders with the West Australian fans. Now the B final, 4 laps, with the 6 riders that qualified in the middle of the pack. All important A final comes your way on the other side of this. Maximum points, second round. Simon Wigg goes into tonight's second round at Claremont, the leader in the series. 10 rounds to be conducted across Australia as we now go racing with the B main, and as we would expect, the charge of the Light Brigade back straight away first time round. Race leader is Jan Stackman. In second spot is Greg Bartlett. Now young Jason Crump tries to assert his superiority. He runs down on the inside of the track in third spot. But hasn't this Jan Stackman been consistent tonight? He hasn't been winning that many races, but I'll tell you what, he should have been, because he's been there and thereabouts at every start. Stackman boots down the back straight. Still a couple of laps left remaining in this one. Greg Bartlett's in second spot. He's under heavy pressure from his fellow West Australian Glenn Doyle, and Jason Crump is also there as they head out of turn number 4. They're almost 3 wide now. Stuck for the Dane runs up top. Now Glenn Doyle gives Greg Bartlett the run by on the inside line. I'll tell you who else is coming into this one. Sander Malenko moving right around the outside of the pack. Stackman's the leader. There goes Doyle though down on the inside, and Glenn Doyle with just a little bit to go in this race now takes the race lead, the ascendancy. Relegates Jan Stackman back to second on the circuit. Yellow flag on display. There's 1 lap of this huge Claremont showground to run, but look at Glenn Doyle. He's up running very high on the circuit, getting maximum traction, plenty of loose dirt up there. Doyle knows his way around this circuit. He's raced here for years and years, and he's made them look fairly ordinary in this one. He came from behind Doyle. A terrific ride. He boots off turn number 4 for the final time, and he wins the B final. Good one to Glenn Doyle. Sam and Malenko coming from absolutely nowhere on the line to finish second, ahead of Jan Stackman in third. This is the A final, second round, Series 500, International Speedway Masters. The top 6 qualifiers. The winner of this heat receives 20 points for the round as the tapes now fly a 4-lap journey. Let's see how it pans out. Sydney's Craig Boyce got a terrific start from the centre of the pack. He heads down the back straight away leading. Look at Simon Wigg, the 5-times world long track champion. He sweeps around the outside of Marvin Cox and Ollie Tavain, and also running well further back in the field is Lee Adams and Tony Rickardson. You've got an all-star cast of the fast here contesting the 4-lap A final. We've never had an Australian rider win a round of this series, and this is the 15th round over the last 2 years, and Craig Boyce could well be the first. He moves down the back straight away. Simon Wigg is looking particularly fast, so is Marvin Cox. Go, Boise, go. Out of turn 4. Can the Aussie boy do it? Aboard the Skilled Engineering Series 500 Jawa. Craig Boyce works his way through the bottom couple of corners for yet another occasion. I'll tell you what, I think we're going to have an Aussie winner here for the first time. There's still a little way to go, but Simon Wigg is certainly not catching Craig Boyce as they work their way now out of turn number 4. The track has been prepared perfectly here tonight as they work their way across the strike. There's just 1 lap remaining, and Craig Boyce could make history here by becoming the first Australian rider to win a round of this prestigious World Series. Down the back straight, he's not just going to win it, he's going to blitz them. Craig Boyce out of turn number 4, runs in about mid-track, and Boyce's going to do it. He punched the Skilled Engineering Jawa off turn 4 and becomes the first Aussie to win a round of the Series 500 International Speedway Masters, and in so doing now joins Simon Wigg as joint leader in this series on 38 points. Wigg was second in the race, followed by Marvin Cox. A great result for Speedway, a terrific result for Australia, and obviously Craig Boyce is delighted at the moment as he's handed the Australian flag, and the crowd here at Claremont really warming to the occasion. Unfortunately, that takes us out from this edition of Checkered Flag. Make sure you join us next week, same time, and we'll do it all over again. Until then, take care and drive safely. All-important C final, round 3 of the Series 500 International Masters Series. A record crowd here at Olympic Park Speedway in Mildura, and we are set for a start. Marvin Cox on the inside, Jan Stackman beside him, then it's Yuri Stansel, and right on the outside is Ollie Tavainen. As we now go racing a 4-lap journey in the C final, and it's Marvin Cox from England who leads the field on settling down through the top couple of corners. They run the first time round. Denmark's Jan Stackman running in second spot, wearing the blue helmet colour. He's been extremely consistent on this tour so far, and the young man you can see on the right-hand side of the picture there charging very hard is young Yuri Stansel from the Czech Republic, who comes to Australia this year for the very first time. Marvin Cox now makes a slight mistake. That enables Jan Stackman to move up and a whole lot closer, in fact almost on equal terms with him, and they're now only separated by a couple of metres as they head down the back straight. for the second last time in this four-lap journey. Nice tight shot there of Marvin Cox as he moves his weight around on the machine, sets himself for the slingshot up the main straight. Yellow flag on display. Jan Stackman's had a problem. He's broken down the Dane. That's hence enables Yuri Stansel to move a lot closer. He consolidates second spot, but there is your race leader. He comes off turn number 4 for the final time in this one, and Marvin Cox takes victory in the all-important C final. Checkered flag on display. Yuri Stansel finishing in second spot ahead of Finland's Olli Tavainen, who's had an indifferent night tonight by his very high standards. Now for the B final, remarkable to see the Super Swede, the 1994 world champion Tony Rickardsson starting in the B final. As we go racing, England's Simon Wiggers, the early race leader. That's Australia's world under-21 champion Jason Crump on the outside, winds it up for a big pass, and he rockets right around the outside. A very gutsy manoeuvre on a tight track like this Mildura circuit, and Jason Crump now leads the event by a good 3 or 4 metres. In fact, he now pulls away. What an outstanding riding performance by him. He leads Simon Wigg by about 5 metres now. Tony Rickardsson, the Super Swede, moves down on the inside, and he moves Simon Wigg up track. Wigg looking just a little uncomfortable on this racetrack. The front of the machine is rocking all over the place, but Rickardsson boots through. He's on centre screen now and settles down and sets his sights on the territory of the race leader, Jason Crump. We've seen 2 big moves in this one so far. First, it was Crump right around the outside to secure the race lead. Then it was Tony Rickardsson booting down on the inside. Can Tony Rickardsson make up for lost ground now? There's Jason Crump, the race leader, the reigning Australian and under-21 world champion. Across the strike he goes, will stand in celebration. Checkered flag on display, so Jason Crump wins the B final ahead of Tony Rickardsson and Jason Lyons, the young Mildura wildcard riding here tonight, finishing in 3rd spot. And celebrations by Jason Crump, and deservedly so. Now the A final, maximum points up for grab. The American 1993 world champion Sam Ermolenko starts on the extreme outside. Beside him, Craig Boyce, Lee Adams, and right on the inside is the top point scorer tonight, Peter Carlson from Sweden. He takes the race lead as they charge through the first couple of corners first time round. Not for long though, the Swedish rider has had a problem. He's broken down and will take no further part in this one. That means the American Sam Ermolenko has swept to the race lead. Lee Adams riding on his home track here tonight, and no one rides this circuit better than him. He settles down in second spot, the former triple Australian champion. And at the back of the pack is the current Series 500 point score leader, that man there, Craig Boyce, who won the round at Claremont on Monday night in Perth. He is struggling though in this one by his very high standards. There's no doubting the race leader though, the American Sam Ermolenko. Heads down the back straight. He's got the Coney shock absorbers GM running and working very well on this circuit. He keeps it down nice and tight. That's the line around this circuit, and propels himself down the main straight. Yellow flag now on display, signifying 1 lap of this Mildura circuit to run about 300 metres, the smallest track on this 10-round series calendar. Ermolenko now, 1 corner left to negotiate, and the charismatic American, the 1993 world title holder, takes the checkered flag ahead of Mildura's own Lee Adams in second spot, and further back in third, and best of the rest was Craig Boyce, with Peter Carlson very unlucky tonight. The top point scorer going through to the A final and breaking down, but there are the celebrations after the race with Sam Ermolenko understandably very happy. That puts him right in contention now in this series. The event that he ran 3rd in last year, the ultimate entertainer Ermolenko, and he's really playing up with a big crowd here at Olympic Park in Mildura, the biggest crowd they've ever seen at this venue in 44 years of operation. An emphatic victory by Sam Ermolenko, now moving up to the winner's podium. Lee Adams on the left of the screen, second tonight, and Craig Boyce on the right of screen. We now go trackside to Lance Robertson, who catches up with the leading trio.
Thanks very much, David. Well, victorious in the 3rd round, Sam Ermolenko, the Stars and Stripes. Congratulations on a smaller circuit.
Yeah, thanks, Lance. I've been having a little bit of trouble the first 2 rounds, and I had to make up a lot of ground here, so this is hopefully keeps me a little bit more stable for the future of the series.
Well, this catapults you up into 4th placing outright in the series. Next weekend, we're off to Wavell Showground, a longer circuit. You didn't have the best of starts in Western Australia.
Well, we got a lot of work to do in between hands, and luckily Steve Langdon from Brisbane is up here taking a couple of my engines back to Brisbane to sort them out and ship them to me, so hopefully we'll be on fire.
Well, 3 down, 7 to go. All the very best of luck. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks,
Second placing tonight, Lee Adams, the local lad from Mildura. Congratulations. Consolidates 3rd placing in the series so far.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy, Lance. I had a few troubles over in Bunbury and seized an engine whilst coming second in the A final. But, I fought back tonight. I didn't start off so well and I was down on points, but I just kept in there trying, and it all turned out okay in the end. I guess I had a little bit of luck with a few guys having engine failures and things, but that's just the kind of night it was. And it turned out really exciting towards the end. I can't complain at all.
All the very best of luck when we head down to Wavell next weekend. Third placing and still holding a solid 7-point lead in the series, Craig Boyce from Australia. Congratulations.
Thanks very much, Lance.
The tighter circuit tonight, one that you really like, but you couldn't pull it together in the final.
No, I don't know what happened. I had my gating head on in the first 4 heats, and then all of a sudden I lost it a little bit, and really struggled out the start in my last heat and the final. I had to check the clutch on the bike. Maybe there's a problem with it or something, or maybe it was just down to myself. So that's another job for tomorrow. But I'm happy to be up on the rostrum again. I finished on the rostrum in the first 3 rounds, so leading the table. So I'm more than happy.
And of course, moving down to Wavell Showground next weekend, another long circuit. How difficult is it for you to set the bikes up for 2 long circuits in the first 2 rounds, a short one in the third, and then a longer one in the fourth?
Well, actually, Lance, I've got 2 long track motors and 1 Speedway engine, which I rode tonight. So pull the engine out that I rode tonight and put the long track engine back in for Wavell, and we'll be buzzing again.
Adams, Cox, Stansel, Ricardson, Sullivan and Crump, they line up side by side, and we're ready for the first heat. Tony Ricardson backing away, a little bit of game of psychology. What about a Wavell? Put your hands together as they get set to embark on 3 laps of fury. Away they go. And it was Jason Crump that got the best start from the extreme outside. Tony Ricardson very quickly settling into second spot. That is Ryan Sullivan from Adelaide, rocketing around the outside. And he now takes second on the racetrack. Race leader, though, is Jason Crump, the Australian World Under-21 champion. He leads them down the main straightaway first time round. In second spot is Ryan Sullivan, the South Australian champion. Marvin Cox now goes down on the inside of Tony Ricardson. Hence relegates that rider back to 4th on the circuit. And a long way back is Lee Adams. Down the back straightaway they race one more time. They'll see the yellow flag on display this time round, signifying 1 lap of this huge Wavell Showground to run. And look at this now, Ryan Sullivan. He throws out the challenge to Jason Crump. They run through the bottom couple of corners very close together on the circuit. Can the Adelaide boy do it? Ryan Sullivan trying extremely hard here to get on equal terms with Jason Crump. A couple of corners now left to run. Crump's the race leader. Here comes Sullivan though, but Crump gets the checkered flag and takes it. Ryan Sullivan in second, followed further back in third by Marvin Cox. Then it was Lee Adams for Series 500 in 4th spot. Tony Ricardson, a very disappointing opening ride by him.
So it's Carlson, Stackman, Wigg, Bartlett, Tyvainen and Boyce in that order from inside to out. Who will it be? First and second in the series thus far. On the extreme outside, Boyce. In the middle is Wigg. Who's got the best of the start? Tyvainen. But here comes Craig Boyce on the outside, swoops right across. Running up on the inside there is Peter Carlson to take up second placing. But it's Boyce that leads the field down the back straight, trying to get high, wide and handsome around the outside of Wigg there. And I think that was Jan Stackman on the Flag International Jawa. Wigg's got all sorts of problems. He's trying for the low line. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Stackman is still out there in front. No, it's not. It's Ollie Tyvainen on board machine number 11 that's running in third placing. The Flying Finn is now trying to go down the back straight. There are problems for our second place rider, Peter Carlson. Bad luck, mechanical problems relegating him out of the race. But Craig Boyce, the series leader, he gets the points on the board very early with 1 more lap to go. Simon Wigg in second place. Then it's Ollie Tyvainen, Jan Stackman, and last but by no means least, the West Australian Greg Bartlett. Well, Bartlett's had problems in the first 3 rounds. He certainly needs to improve his point scoring if he's going to be a chance in this series. But no such problems for our race leader. Craig Boyce, wheelie on the finish line. Boyce first, Wigg second, Tyvainen third, 4th placing to Stackman, and 5th placing to the rider on board number 10, Greg Bartlett.
Okay, all in readiness as we go racing. They work hard into the opening turn. Lemon away well, but have a look at Ermolenko. Fantastic start as he makes his way down the back chute. Andy Smith looks as though he may be chasing from position number 3. Mark Lemon in second spot as they work down the main stretch. Can Lemo hang on? It's Ermolenko. Sudden Sam, as he's known, doing the job out in front. Bad news indeed for Charles Ermolenko, the younger brother from the US of A. He's out of commission, and so too is Shane Parker. A disastrous start. Round number 1 of the heats, this one the third. But I can tell you, it is all Sam Ermolenko giving them a lesson to this point. But it must be said, the man from Mildura, Mark Lemon, the current Victorian champion, showing a clean pair of heels to Andy Smith, the current British champion. So please, race fans, put it together for Sam Ermolenko. A will stand salute. Lemon unofficially in behind him for second. 3rd spot to Andy Smith.
So Adams has certainly got a lot of work to do along with Stackman and of course Bartlett. Lemon, though, no such problems for him. He scored a second in his first outing. He'll certainly be after the same luxury here. Series 500 car care products tapes on the way, and away they go, and Mark Lemon again read that like a dream, but there goes Lee Adams, and look out round the outside, Greg Bartlett, the long track specialist. Look at the drive, he's getting 3/4 track high. He's managed to get up to snap on the heels of Adams as they go down into turns 3-4 for the first time. Third placing being held down at the moment by the looks of it by Shane Parker. He's trying as hard as he possibly can, but down the main straight they come for the second times, and it's Adams from number 10, of course, is Bartlett. He's followed by Stackman. Then it looks like we've got Shane Parker in behind him and Yuri Stankel. Here comes a luckless rider as he comes past us now. The man I'm referring to in the yellow, no, I beg your pardon, in the blue is Mark Lemon, the man that had a good start and looked like he could have gone on with it. He ain't going to do that now. It's Lee Adams that's out there in front at the moment. Look at the drive that the rider on the inside line there was getting, and I think that may well have been Shane Parker. He's done a masterful job to get up there into third place, indeed, if it is Parker, and he's battling down to try and get second on the wire, but Adams takes it out. Adams in first place. He's followed by Bartlett. Then it's Parker.
That is the lineup. A brilliant heat, this one, as the tapes go up. In through turn number 1, 4 and 5 abreast, if you don't mind. Magnificent stuff. Simon Wigg has come from nowhere in the green, has kept it wide open, and he continues to run mid-track. The prowess of the 5 times world long track champion. Amazing stuff. Simon Wigg absolutely nails it out of the second corner. Now screams down the back. Unfortunately, it looks as though Shane Bowes has pulled out of the event. That's sad for him. Somebody extremely wide coming out of the fourth turn, but it's Wigg out in front. And the Australian, Craig Boyce. Back behind them, Marvin Cox. Looks as though he may just have managed to get through on Ryan Sullivan, but Ryan comes back at him. Steamrolls his way back into third. Have a look at this as the checkered comes out. Boyce throws everything at him, but cannot do it. Please, a round of applause, if you will, for Simon Wigg. A superlative ride from a hard-charging Craig Boyce. The New South Welshman firing up magnificently.
Big crowd, perfect weather conditions, and we are set for a start in heat number 6 at the Wayville Showground. Away we go, the tapes fly. Rick Carson got a fairly good start over on the inside. I'll tell you what, no place for the faint-hearted as they rock and roll through turns 1 and 2. It is the super sweet Tony Rickardson. He boots away as they head down the back straightaway the first time. The pint-sized pocket rocket, the British champion Andy Smith, went for it in second spot at the moment. They charge off turn number 4 for the first time with 3 here. Jason Crump is up running third, then followed further back in fourth by Peter Colson. Sam Malenko has a big look around the outside, and Ollie Tavainen is really eating their dust at the moment. The super sweet, though, rounds turns 3 and 4 for yet another occasion. There's a big mover back further in the field. That is Sam Malenko, and he goes down heavily on turn number 4. That is not the place to be racing out here. Red lights brought on. Understandably, Malenko aboard the Coney shock absorbers GM going down heavily on turn number 4. He was simply trying too hard out there where it's very loose, very dangerous. That's exactly the makeup of Sam Malenko. Would never take a backward step. Unfortunately, the race has now been declared awarded to Tony Rickardson from Jason Crump and Andy Smith.
Event 12, Heat 7, Walden Miller in Series 500 Car Care Products. Heat number 7 is off and running. Shane Parker gets away nicely. On the outside, Lee Adams. He was onto it fairly well as we watch them coming out of the second corner, and hard at it into 3. Parker now slots back into the third spot. But around they come to complete lap number 1 of 3. And at the moment, it's all Craig Boyce for skill and Series 500 to lay down Jower. 884.5 series engine performing beautifully for him at the moment. Lee Adams is tucked into second spot. Back behind him, it is still Shane Parker, looking to pick up more points with 1 remaining. They're being followed by Marvin Cox, the Englishman. Then the 7 of Peter Carlson with Brett Woodfield. Stand in for Sam Malenko from the US of A, tailing out the field, but invaluable experience nonetheless. Here's the checkered flag. Australia takes another heat win. Good on you, Craig Boyce. Top stuff from Lee Adams, the Mildura muscle man. Shane Parker, the South Australian, into third.
Sullivan, Bartlett, Lemon, Tavainen, Ermolenko, and Tony Rickardson. Green lights on, away they go. A pretty good even start. In fact, you could throw a tally-ho paper over them. And look at Tony Ricardson set sail right around the outside. And the former world champ takes the race lead heading down the back straightaway. Relegates Ryan Sullivan back to second on the racetrack. That looks to me to be Ollie Tavainen up there running third, having a fairly untidy ride at the moment. The racetrack is particularly deep though and very hard to handle at the moment. Ricardson though, he's out in front. He's got no such problems, not eating any dirt whatsoever. The super sweet rockets down the back straight. Look at the Adelaide youngster, Ryan Sullivan, third in the world under-21 title in 1995, trying extremely hard in second spot. And now a very good race developing for third and fourth on the circuit as Mark Lemon blasts by on the outside of Ollie Tavainen. The yellow flag has been shown. There's less than one lap of this huge Wavell showground to negotiate, and the race leader Tony Ricardson is going to win this one in a canter. Off turn 4 comes the 1994 world champ from Sweden. He takes it, Tony Ricardson, in a cracker of a ride. Ryan Sullivan in second. Mark Lemon well pleased with himself in third, showing plenty of determination. Then it was Ollie Tavainen, Greg Bartlett, and right at the back of the pack was Charles Ermolenko.
And both Wig and Crump are on 9 points equal with Craig Boyce before his victory. So now these two riders will certainly be wanting a win here. Who will it be, the outside or the inside? Maybe the middle that gets the start. Andy Smith got a good one there, but Crump's got the best of it at the moment. He heads the field from the centre and swatting up the inside, though, on the low line. It is Simon Wigg. But look at Jason Crump get those wheels straightened out. He swapped from the outside to the inside. Wigg's on the outside now. Crump on the inside, side by side down through turns 3 and 4. And they'll cross the strike line, only a paper width apart. But it's 5 times world long track champion Simon Wigg that's out there in front at the moment. He's ahead of none other than the man that we've been referring to as Australian and world under-21 champion Jason Crump. Back there in third placing, it's the locals. Shane Bowes on board his Jawa, followed behind him in the black and white by Jan Stackman, and bringing up the rear of the field, Andy Smith, as we've had one pull out of the race at the moment, and I think that may have been Yuri Stankel on the Greenway straight Jawa, but down the back straight they go for the last time. Half a lap, 2 corners to go, and I think Wigg's going to get it. But look at him, Crump there, come right up into his tail there, the rooster tail of the bike, but Simon Wigg takes it. Wigg from Crump, Bowes, Stackman and Andy Smith in that order.
Heat number 10 takes on some of the very best in the world. Ricardson is certainly starting to hit his straps when it counts. Starts on the inside. Let's see how it pans out. Should be a beauty. Can Fly and Ryan do it from the extreme outside? He got a pretty good start, but look at Ricardson and Lee Adams. There goes Sullivan now, searching high, wide and handsome, and he takes the race lead. Ryan Sullivan back straight away. Adelaide, you're going to come alive here at Wavell Showground. He leads off turn number 4. Lee Adams is trying very hard. Let's get up off your backsides and cheer him on. Ryan Sullivan heads through turns 1 and 2. In hot pursuit now is Lee Adams. Marvin Cox further back in third. Ricardson has stopped like he's been hit between the eyes with a sledgehammer. And forget about the others at this stage of proceedings. Race leader is Ryan Sullivan, Australia's under-21 champion. He takes the yellow flag with 1 lap remaining. In second spot, it's Lightning Lee Adams, followed further back in third by Marvin Cox. Cox has broken the primary chain there. He pulls out of the race, that hence gives it to Tony Ricardson. No, it doesn't, because Crump goes around the outside. What about it, Adelaide? Here he comes, Ryan Sullivan off turn number 4, and he beats the best in the world. He takes it. Checkered flags over him. In second spot, Lee Adams. Jason Crump ended up getting third on the line.
And the red from 1, Greg Bartlett on the Tuckatine New Ford GM, and the blue from 2, Simon Wigg, Fraser's Torco Jawa, in the white from 3, Craig Boyce, Skilled Engineering Series 500 Jawa in the yellow from 4, Ollie Tavainen, Containers Packaging Jawa in the green from 5, and Peter Carlson on board the Spitfire Sparkplugs GM in the 6. The 2 top point scorers there side by side, and Boyce has got the best of it. 4 wide as they turn into turn number 1, but getting the best of it is Greg Bartlett going around the outside there. It looked like it could well have been Ollie Tavainen. Down the back straight, it's the Flying Finn that leads. Where's Boyce? Where's Wigg? There goes Boyce up the inside now and taking the running up in second placing. Has Ollie Tavainen left the door wide open? No, it's not. That, in fact, is Peter Carlson, the swift Swede. Boyce round the outside, leads on the Swede. What a cracking drive there from Boyce. He wants top point score. He wants to be able to have the choice of gate in the A final, and by jingoes, he's done it. So it's Boyce from Carlson, Bartlett. Then back there is Jan Stackman. He's followed by Wigg, and last but by no means least is Ollie Tavainen. What a cracker drive round the outside there by Boyce. That is what Series 500 car care products and skilled engineering have got behind this young lad. Bring him home, Australia. Craig Boyce in first. What a cracker run. Second place, Peter Carlson. Greg Bartlett third.
Race bands, he is back. He's back, Sam Ermolenko. Almost knocked himself senseless in the West End turn, but he is back. Such is his heart and determination. Watch him in white. From 3 as we go racing. Will stand from Charles Ermolenko. That will not do his aspirations any good at all. But look at this. It's Lemon. Lethal Mark Lemon in the black and white has smoked them coming out of the second turn. Action continues now, coming out of turn number 4, but down the main chute. The current Victorian champion is very quickly into stride, and now is continuing to motor on with the job as we look back behind them. Parker's pressuring, Lemon's out. A shock there for the Victorian. Tragic luck, but Parker now looks for the inside. 1 lap is remaining. He's putting the pressure on the British champion. Back behind them, Shane Bowes is fighting it out. In fact, Bowesy may have hit the front. Down the back, the South Australia's coming on now like gangbusters. We've got Bowes, Parker, Smith's been left in their wake. It's Parker! What a finish! Parker from the 13 of Shane Bowes, South Australia. If that is not a motor race, then you'll go a very long way to see one.
Ollie Tyvainen in the red from 1. Yuri Stankel in the blue from 2. Charles Ermolenko in the white from 3. Marvin Cox in the yellow from 4. Peter Carlson in the green from 5. And Mark Lemon in the black from 6. Looking for a start now in the C final. All important series points. And away they go, probably getting the best of the start there was Peter Carlson in the green helmet colour, but they're 4 wide going down out of turn number 2, down the back straight they go. It's still Carlson that leads. Who was it that got a good start there? I think it may well have been Mark Lemon in the black helmet colour, leaving Ollie Tyvainen back there in 4th placing. In 3rd placing, it's Marvin Cox. So out in front, it's Peter Carlson, the swift Swede, but in hot pursuit. In the black helmet colour, it's Mark Lemon as he tries to straighten that front and back wheel, gets drive out of turn 2 and down the back straight. He's in 2nd place with Cox in 3rd now, getting the drive on the inside. Ollie Tyvainen in 4th. Forget about 5th and 6th. 5th is Stankel, and 6th placing pulling out of turn number 4 there. It looks like it could well be Charles Ermolenko. Down the back straight they go for the second last time. These are 4-lap finals, not 3 laps as the heats were. 4 laps for the final. Yellow flag with the black cross on display now. It's going to greet the green helmet coloured rider, and that is Peter Carlson. He's out there in front of Mark Lemon in 2nd place, Marvin Cox 3rd, 4th placing to Ollie Tyvainen, and 5th placing there to Yuri Stankel. Down the back straight they go, more resemblant of an Indian scouting party on a Saturday night at Wavell Showground. But put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. 1st placing goes to Cox, 2nd to Mark Lemon. Shane Bowes in the white from 3, the rider of Machine 13, qualified in 9th with 9 points. Greg Bartlett, the rider of machine number 10, qualified in 10th and will start in the yellow from 4. He qualified with 9 points. Stackman qualified with 8 and Sam Ermolenko with 7. The other 2 riders in the field, Andy Smith in the green from 5 and Shane Parker in the black from 6. All in readiness now as the Series 500 tapes are all set to go. Who will it be that takes away the 10 points? A fairly even start, but on the outside it's a pint-sized pocket rocket, Andy Smith, but not for long because Shane Bowes wounds him up. But look at Smith go down the back straight, out of turn 2 and away he goes. In the black helmet colour, it's Shane Parker, the lean green racing machine from South Australia, slotted himself up into 2nd. 3rd is Sam Ermolenko, the man that's still probably got concussion. 4th placing is Bowes, 5th placing Bartlett, and 6th and last is Jan Stackman. But the pint-sized pocket rocket pony rider, Andy Smith, down the back straight for the 2nd of 4 laps here. Turns it in nice and wide, about mid-track for Andy Smith out in front. Parker in 2nd place, Sam Ermolenko. 3 wide battle for 4th placing down the back of the field there. It's currently being held down by Bowes. There goes Bartlett up the inside, Stackman round the outside, side by side. There goes Stackman up into 4th, round the outside of Bowes with nowhere to move. And look at Parker, he's now trying to challenge our race leader, Andy Smith. One more lap to go. Oh, it's breathless stuff here. Smith out in front, Parker in second place. Stackman is back there in fourth, Ermolenko third, and a good battle. Oh, look at the way Parker rears up onto the outside. Now he cuts to the inside. Will he have the intestinal fortitude to do the same thing? It's Andy Smith out in front. Here comes Parker though. It'll be a last-ditch effort, but the point-sized pocket rocket Tommy gets it. It's Smith from Parker, Ermolenko, Stackman, Bowes, and Greg Bartlett.
Now, as they say in the classics, the moment we've all been waiting for. The crowd here at Wayville Showground in Adelaide are beside themselves with excitement. The top 6 qualifiers to contest the all-important A final. A psychedelic mass of colour. The man closest to your screen is Craig Boyce from Sydney, the top qualifier here tonight. He has amassed a staggering 19 points and hence transfers to the all-important A final as the top man. Then it's Ryan Sullivan, Jason Crump, Simon Wigg, Lee Adams, and the Super Swede, the 1994 world champion Tony Ricardson, also transfers to the A final. A huge crowd here. We're set for a start. Who will it be? A galaxy of stars in an event that's out of this world. Come on, Wayville, put your hands together for the entire 6 of them as they embark on a 4-lap journey. Will it be Ryan Sullivan, folks? Here we go! Racing now, 4 laps the distance. Ryan Sullivan got a good start. Tony Ricardson also got away very quickly. Look at Ryan Sullivan! He takes the race lead back straight away. And Simon Wigg in second spot. Look at them now coming from the back. Jason Crump up running third. He attempts to put one down on the inside of, obviously, Simon Wigg. What about it, Adelaide? Let's get behind the local boy. Ryan Sullivan's out in front. This could be one of the biggest wins of his career. He leads them down the back straight. The 5 times world champion Simon Wigg is trying extremely hard in second spot. Come on, Ryan Sullivan. Off turn number 4, main straightaway. 2 laps of the Wayville Showground to negotiate. Ryan Sullivan, the race leader. I don't think Simon Wigg's going to do it. I don't think they can beat Sullivan this time round. He moves down the back straight, 1.5 laps remaining. Jason Crump's in third. Come on, Wayville, let's get behind the local boy. Ryan Sullivan now out of turn 4. Simon Wigg is not going to give it away without a fight. Yellow flag on display. There goes Simon Wigg now. Stretching high, white handsome on the circuit. Ryan Sullivan's the race leader. Back straight away, go Ryan, go. He's got 2 corners left to negotiate. Come on, Adelaide, up your backsides. This is Ryan Sullivan's greatest moment. He's done it! Oh, yeah! Simon Wigg in second, Jason Crump in third. Well, what about that, Wayville? What about that? One of the biggest wins of the young man's career. He's pulled it off in front of his home crowd and beaten the best riders in the world. He holds the Australian flag proudly aloft. Simon Wigg certainly didn't give in without a fight. And Jason Crump in third. Ryan Sullivan, there will be a tear underneath the helmet, I can assure you of that. As he comes back onto the main straight, Adelaide, he's done it for you. What about for Ryan Sullivan?
Well, Ryan, I bet you're pinching yourself about that one. Has it come true?
Oh, it's unbelievable, you know. I've had some real trouble in the series, and, you know, this is the one I really wanted to win, and, you know, it's just a dream come true.
How much did the fact that you're riding in front of a very parochial home crowd lift you?
Oh, it's just awesome, you know. I just tried to get them behind me and got my bike set up right for my last heat and kept it for the final, and it was just perfect.
One of the biggest wins of your career?
Oh, it's just brilliant. Definitely one to remember.
Welcome back. This is Checkered Flag on Sports Australia. Terrific to have you along for the ride wherever you might be watching. Marvellous night here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground in Queensland. Welcome to round 5 of the $1 Million Series 500 International Speedway Masters. A Tuesday night, a good crowd here. Given that, 10,000 odd people have ventured out to watch the 16 best speedway riders in the world do battle. 7 countries represented in this tournament, and last week on this program you saw Adelaide's Ryan Sullivan brilliantly storm the victory in front of his home crowd. Who will it be tonight? Well, Tony Ricardson is tipped by many people to return to his blistering form that won him this tournament last year. 5 world champions in the field. You're looking at one of them now, Sudden Sam Ermolenko from California, the 1993 world title holder. In addition to him, Tony Ricardson, I've already mentioned, Simon Wigg, the 5 times world long track champion, and then Jason Crump and Lee Adams, both of whom are Australian riders, both of whom are world under-21 champions. So we're set for a start now in the first heat. A good crowd here, very vocal crowd at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. The one to watch here is possibly Sam Ermolenko. He rides in the blue helmet colour. British champion Andy Smith over on the inside, and Mildura's Lee Adams. The tapes now fly in the first event, and Sam Ermolenko, as predicted, got the best start. That's Andy Smith in second spot. He switches lines and decides to run up on the outside of the racetrack. That hence enables Lee Adams to work his way closer to the lead. He now consolidates second on the circuit. You can see the gap there clearly between first and second. The race leader is the American Sam Ermolenko. He leads Lee Adams now by a couple of metres, but Lee Adams is certainly throwing down the challenge. These heats are run over 4-lap journeys, then we advance to the B and A finals later in tonight's program, and they of course will be 5-lap finales. Sam Ermolenko though has certainly fired the right kind of shot from the outset of proceedings. He heads down the back straight here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground in Queensland, a clear-cut race leader. The Australian Lee Adams is trying particularly hard to get on equal terms with Ermolenko, but he won't be able to do it, and Ermolenko goes across the start-finish line, sees the yellow flag on display. There's one lap of the Brisbane Exhibition Ground to negotiate, and the Australian rider is certainly starting to challenge now. Ermolenko's the race leader inside the last corner. Adams has done a terrific job in this, very bold here, but Sam Ermolenko goes down and takes the checkered flag in sensational fashion. He won the grand final of this particular event at this venue last year, Ermolenko, and has a real liking for the circuit. In second spot was Lee Adams. In third spot, the reigning British champion, Andy Smith, in what was a pretty good opening ride. Next event brings together another quality quartet. Trust you're enjoying the action wherever you might be watching. Peter Carlson from Sweden on the inside. Perth's Greg Bartlett beside him. Then it's Denmark's Jan Stackman and England's Simon Wigg, the 5-times world champ, on the extreme outside. He got a fairly good start, but Peter Carlson, the Swedish rider, got a better one. He fires his machine underneath our television camera on turns 3 and 4 first time round. Now the man to watch here is clearly Simon Wigg. Is in second spot, moving very quickly at the moment, noticeably choosing to run up high on the circuit. Now what he's doing there is in quest of dirt, trying to pick up maximum drive for the back wheel, but the man in front is no slouch, Peter Carlson. He joins this field as a debutant this summer, and he finished in the top 4 of the British League in 1995, Peter Carlson, which is a very accurate reflection of a Speedway rider's ability. He is a class act, as you're seeing. Now Simon Wigg, one gets the feeling, is starting to feel just a tad impatient here. He's up and down the racetrack trying to find the way by on the inside or the outside. He's not fussy, but he certainly wants to shake off Peter Carlson, but he can't, as the Swedish rider now boots away through turns 1 and 2 for yet another occasion. They're going to see the yellow flag on display, signifying one lap of this world-famous Brisbane Exhibition Ground to run next time round. Here comes the yellow flag now, and here comes Simon Wigg, winding up the horsepower, now switching back to the inside line one more time. Peter Carlson got the checkered flag there. He took victory, defeating Simon Wigg, and third of the checkered flag was Perth's Greg Bartlett in a very good ride by him, but Peter Carlson opens his account in the best possible way. Next event sees Craig Boyce, the reigning series leader. Over on the inside, the Sydney side, a former world number 3. He got a fairly good start. That's the Queenslander wildcard, Tony Rose, who got an even better one. He heads them down the back straight. Well, this is somewhat of a surprise packet to see the Queensland wildcard leading them on, settling down. In second spot, it's Craig Boyce, followed further back in third by Marvin Cox, and Finland's Olli Tavainen whips in the foursome right at the back of the pack. Well, here comes the action now. The handlebar heroes here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. Tony Rose incredibly leading the much classier Craig Boyce. He moves down on the inside now. Boyce aboard the skilled engineering Jower, trying particularly hard. Tony Rose, though, is clinging to a very slender lead here. A terrific ride by the Queenslander to hold off a very determined Craig Boyce on the inside. And further back in third is the Englishman Marvin Cox. Out of turn number 4 they run, and Tony Rose here might just cause the upset of the century. He was seeded into this race as a wild card only, and as you can see, he's making every post a winner. Boyce now moving down on the inside. They're only separated by about 1 metre on the circuit. Now Boyce whips around the outside, but Tony Rose is going to do it. One gets the feeling the post will be too close, as they say, and Tony Rose takes the checker in a terrific ride. Craig Boyce was in second spot. I think Craig Boyce will be a little shell-shocked by that, and Marvin Cox finishes in third. Oh yeah, terrific ride by the Queenslander. He's going to make every post a winner tonight. In this, his opportunity to ride against the best in the world. Now we are set for a start in heat number 4. Tony Ricardson, the defending Series 500 champion, lines up in this one. That's him in the white helmet colour. He got a blistering start when the tapes flew. Marvin Cox backing up in this one for the second consecutive race for him. He settles down in second spot. Now the reigning British champion Andy Smith's in third, and Denmark's Jan Stackman whips in the foursome at the back of the pack. Race leader on settling down is Tony Rickardsson, 25 years of age, from Avesta in Sweden, the 1994 World Speedway champion, who, as I said previously, is the defending Series 500 Grand Prix star. He now moves up track. Marvin Cox has a look down on the inside. Good move by him. And whilst all of that's going on, Andy Smith, the reigning British champ, is in third spot, having a bird's eye view of the action here. Tony Rickardsson shakes off the challenge of Marvin Cox momentarily. Cox has his new set of problems though, because Andy Smith, his fellow countryman, moves down on the inside and looking for a way by as well. Rickardsson goes down to the line, and he now rounds through turns 3 and 4 for another time. He's going to see the checkered flag next time round, and the super Swede Tony Rickardsson has certainly got the O'Brien aluminium Jower hurtling around this circuit. He comes out of turn 4. Marvin Cox has dropped off the pace appreciably, and Rickardsson goes down and takes it in a fine win. In second spot was Marvin Cox. Finishing further back in third was Andy Smith, and right at the back of the pack was Denmark's Jan Stackman. Well, Tony Rickardsson has started the evening perfectly from his point of view. You can't do much more than win, and that's exactly what he did. Next event sees the return of Sutton Sam Ermolenko, previous heat winner here tonight. Has always shown a very strong liking to this racetrack. Keep your eyes out for him in white. There he goes as the tapes play. And the 1993 world title holder got the best start. Looking now to see how they pan out in second and third. It's the Swedish star Peter Carlson in second spot. Now the good mates off the track, these two, Ermolenko and Carlson, but expect for no quarter to be given here. They're fiercely determined rivals, and that's Olli Tervainen from Finland, who got an outstanding start to this tournament in Western Australia. He's running in third spot in this particular heat. His bike seems to have lost some horsepower over the last couple of rounds. He'll be working hard to rectify that. Race leader, though, is Sam Ermolenko. About 3 laps of the world-famous Brisbane exhibition ground to negotiate. He looks as though he's too classy, too speedy here for Peter Carlson in second spot. As they now spread down the back straightaway one more time, it is the American Sam Ermolenko. He's certainly in no danger of defeat from here, unless, of course, something unforeseen happens. But Ermolenko, plenty of horsepower out of turn number 4. He sees the yellow flag. There's just one lap of this Brisbane circuit now to run. No change in the order. It's Sam Ermolenko, the 1993 world champ. He's well and truly clear, going to win this one in seemingly consummate ease. You're watching the man in action now. Off turn 4, he thunders, and Sam Ermolenko does a terrific job in comprehensively defeating Peter Carlson in second spot from Sweden, followed by Olli Tervainen in Finland, further back in third. Well, Ermolenko and Rickardsson have certainly been the 4 men here so far tonight in round 5 of the Series 500 World Masters, the world's biggest speedway bike tournament outside the official World Championship. Now we see Greg Bartlett starting on the inside of Craig Boyce. Beside him is Yuri Stansel. No, it's not. It's Jason Crump, the reigning Australian champion. And Charles Ermolenko, who got a shocker of a start again. He's been a major disappointment, that rider, on this tour so far. Well, look at Craig Boyce, will you? He kicks the Jower, the skilled engineering Jower, around the extreme outside of Greg Bartlett. Gee, they were close together on the racetrack there. You could almost throw a tally-ho paper over them. But Sydney's former world number 3 and the man that currently leads this 10-round championship chase, Craig Boyce, has certainly got the ascendancy. He is the race leader out of turn number 4. I suppose 5 or 6 metres now separates he and his nearest rival, Greg Bartlett. And Jason Crump, you'll find, is settling down in third spot at the moment. Well, look at the determination, the steely determination of Craig Boyce. He's the current series leader. He wants to win this championship very badly. He's only got to stay in front, and he's going to certainly go a long way to doing that here tonight. Craig Boyce down the main straight. Yellow flag on display. There's 1 lap of the 400-plus metre Brisbane circuit to run, and it's all Craig Boyce in this one. No stopping the Sydney superstar. Too classy, too much horsepower out of turn number 4. Greg Bartlett in second spot, now under pressure from a very fast finishing Jason Crump. But Crump, unfortunately for him, the finish line was too close. Craig Boyce the victor there, ahead of Greg Bartlett, who's improving all the time in this event. And Jason Crump disappointing tonight in front of his home crowd, finishing in third spot. Well, there he is, the skilled engineering entry of Craig Boyce. Highlights of the 5th round of the Series 500 International Speedway Masters. Trust you're enjoying it. Next heat now sees Tony Rosley, Adams, Simon Wigan, Ryan Sullivan, We Go Racing. And once again, the Queenslander springs a major surprise by jumping across from the outside of the starting tape. Position number 4 he started from, and Tony Rose takes the race lead. That is Lee Adams in second spot, Ryan Sullivan third, and remarkably the 5 times world champion Simon Wigg, who did finish second in this tournament last summer, is trailing this foursome down the back straight for yet another occasion. That is very disappointing from Simon Wigg's point of view. You're watching Tony Rose, the Queensland wildcard, putting the cleaners through them here yet again. Lee Adams a mile back further in second spot, followed further back in third by Ryan Sullivan, and I still cannot believe it. Simon Wigg must have major mechanical problems. The English star is at the back of the pack and a mile off the pace in this one. I'll tell you who's not a mile off the pace, Tony Rose. He's running like lightning out in front. You're looking at him on the left of screen, a big gap further back in second spot to Lee Adams, Australia's triple national champion, who's doing a terrific job in this series, running third in the point score at the moment. There's Tony Rose, though, whipping his machine through turns 3 and 4. He comes off turn number 4, and what a rider Tony Rose. He's done a fabulous job tonight, to a thunderous applause here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. The local boy Tony Rose has upset some of the big stars. He defeats Lee Adams. In third spot, Ryan Sullivan. At the back of the pack, England's Simon Wigg in a boil over. Now we move to the B final. 5 laps the journey here for the riders that qualified in 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th position. Craig Boyce, the one to watch here. Andy Smith, the British champion, on the inside. Now 5 laps the journey here, and Craig Boyce began like a rocket out of the centre of the pack. Marvin Cox there in the blue helmet colour, picking up some drive. You saw the front of the machine rear there dangerously, but Marvin Cox, a very fine rider, got the machine back under control. Andy Smith in second spot, but the man they've got to catch is Craig Boyce, and that, by the way, is Tony Rose, the Queensland wildcard, right at the back of the pack. Good battle here for second and third between the 2 English riders. Andy Smith now runs up track. Marvin Cox was up high, now he whips it down on the low line. There's 3 laps now remaining in this all-important B final. Now Craig Boyce, the race leader, was pretty unlucky not to qualify for the A final. He had an engine detonation in his final heat ride, and unfortunately for him that meant he couldn't qualify for the A final, but he's certainly going to ram the advantage home here by winning the B final. And Craig Boyce now works his way out of Machinery Hill, a world famous part of this circuit at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground, and Craig Boyce is doing this one very, very easily. Thank you very much. The Australian star leads by a good 10 metres. In second spot it's Andy Smith, followed in third by Marvin Cox. And obviously Tony Rose, the Queenslander, has certainly not fired a shot in this one, the all-important B final. Perhaps he's buckled just a little bit under the pressure, but Craig Boyce now rounds out of turn number 2 and approaches a couple more corners in turns 3 and 4 and works his way past the pit gate here. Craig Boyce, race leader. Out of turn number 4 he comes. He's been desperately unlucky tonight not to qualify for the A final, but he's done it in the B final in convincing fashion, and that is some very valuable points for him. He still should lead the series outright at the completion of tonight's 5th round, depending, of course, what happens in the upcoming A final. Well, talking about the A final, here we come now. Maximum points up for grabs, a 5-lap journey. Coulson, Rickarton, 2 Swedes. Lee Adams represents Australia, and Sam Ermolenko on the extreme outside. The tapes now fly. Here we go in the all-important A final. Tony Rickarton was the best to begin. Look at this, will you? The absolute charge of the Light Brigade as this quality quartet thundered through turns 3 and 4 the first time round. The Australian rider Lee Adams has taken the lead momentarily, but Tony Rickarton pulls it back in the centre, and that is the American 1993 world champion Sam Ermolenko on the extreme outside. Well, there's riders going everywhere here. Lee Adams got the race lead. Rickarton says, no way on your life, son, I'm going to take it back again. And Sam Ermolenko on the right-hand side of your picture is not too far away out of this one either. Peter Coulson in 4th, by the way. Race leader is Tony Rickarton. Lee Adams in second spot. What's going to happen here at the Ekka? Who knows? They're all over the circuit. Rickarton, the Swedes, former world champions in front. Look at Lee Adams now, the Australian on the inside. And furthermore, look at Sam Ermolenko, the Californian, on the extreme outside. The crowd are really pumped here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. Terrific speedway. And this field is going to see the yellow flag next time round. Tony Rickarton badly needs the win here tonight. He's the race leader. Lee Adams again fighting on the inside. Now the rider to watch is Sutton Sam. He unleashes the horsepower and skates around the outside of the racetrack. Look at this racing as they head down the back straightaway. Tony Rickarton, the race leader. Lee Adams trying hard on the inside. He now gets to the front, but Rickarton fights back, and Ermolenko on the outside. They go across the strike. Anybody's race. It was Tony Rickarton who got there. I think Lee Adams just lasted on the line to finish second, ahead of a very determined Sam Ermolenko. What a speedway race with Rickarton on top. Final placings official, Lee Adams in second, Sam Ermolenko third.
Well, Tony Rickarton, that was an unbelievable speedway race.
Yeah, it was. You know, I had a really good start, came out of the bend, but I just couldn't get the speed enough, you know, to go away from them. I couldn't pick a good line because I got Lee on the inside, I got Sam on the outside, so I didn't know where to go. So I like sort of ended up in no man's land in the middle, and they were just pushing me all the time. And Lee passed me once, I got him back, and then I thought Sam gonna go by me on the outside. It was like, whoa, you know, it was too much. I was just had to look straight forward and go for it.
Tony, it's a win that your confidence needed too.
Well, you know, I knew that my riding hasn't been, you know, being very bad, except that the point score hasn't been on top. But, you know, did some changes to the engines. My dad came here, we brought some new cams to the engines. That made a whole difference.
Welcome back. You're watching Checkered Flag on Sports Australia. A huge crowd here at Sydney's Parramatta Raceway for round 6 of the Series 500 International Speedway Masters. Should be quite a night as we get set now for the first heat.
And of course your referee tonight, Dave Mills, and the assistant referee, Roy Thompson. The Series 500 girls now making their way off the starting line area. Green lights on, all in readiness. Sutton, Sam Ermolenko, ridden like a dream, but Adams gets the early start on the inside. And look at that, well, two riders touching each other there. One of them was Tony Rickardson, and he was in third. He's now down to the rear of the pack. Yuri Stansel's up there in third placing at the moment. Ryan Sullivan trying to get up on the inside of Charles Ermolenko there, has mechanical problems and will take no further part. It's Sutton, Sam Ermolenko that leads the field at the moment. Look at Stansel on the high line, Rickardson on the low line, third and fourth placing respectively, and of course in second placing it's Lee Adams. This will be the end of their second lap. 2 down and 2 to go at the end of this 4 laps duration here for the heats at Parramatta City Raceway. And it's Sutton, Sam Ermolenko. He doesn't get that nickname for no reason at all. He was suddenly up there in front after battling down in the back of the pack in around 4th or 5th position. So it's Ermolenko, Adams, Stansel, then it looks like we've got Rickardson, and tailing the rear of the field is Charles Ermolenko. So 1 more lap to go this time around. The yellow flag with a black diagonal on it, signifying 1 more circuit of the Parramatta City Raceway here in heat number 1 of round 6 of the Series 500 International Speedway Masters, and it looks like it's going to be Sam Ermolenko that takes it out. So Ermolenko, Sam thereof, will take first placing and 5 valuable points. Second place will be Lee Adams, third placing to Yuri Stansel, fourth will go to Tony Rickardson, and fifth placing to Charles Ermolenko.
So here's Crump on the second of the O'Brien aluminium entries. Now, what have they done there? They've let them go. There's the green lights, and we go racing. Simon Wigg is the race leader. That's Perth's Greg Bartlett now moving his way by on the outside. Peter Coulson in second spot, so a pretty good battle for the minor placings at the moment. Well, Jason Crump's going to be filthy about that. I think he still was inside the 2 minutes personally. Simon Wigg is the race leader as they work their way down the main straight at the end of the first racing lap. Bartlett still comfortably in second spot. Now Peter Coulson picks up some necessary horsepower and moves up on the inside, and they run through turns 3 and 4 almost side by side now as we watch the race leader Simon Wigg aboard the Torco Oils Fraser Motorcycles Jower thundering down the main straight here at the Parramatta venue. Works his way across the top of the racetrack, fairly skatey up there now, and they really are spread out here like the proverbial Indian scouting party. A fair bit of ground covering first and last, and I think Jason Crump's going to have something to say on the other side of this, you'd better believe it, as Simon Wigg now pours off turn number 4. In second spot it's still Greg Bartlett, the West Australian rider, Peter Coulson in third, and the Danish rider Jan Stackman currently holds down fourth on the circuit, and Jason Crump has made up a stack of ground, hasn't he? Albeit he's a long way back in fifth spot by virtue of the fact the field was released before he got back to the start line as they now come down, and Simon Wigg takes the checkered flag in heat number 2 in a race time of 73.71 seconds, so that's a couple of seconds quicker than the previous journey, which would indicate the track will get faster and faster tonight. In second spot it was Greg Bartlett, third at the checkered flag Peter Coulson from Sweden, Jens Stackman was fourth, and Jason Crump was fifth.
Almost in the starter's hands again here now for heat number 3 in the first of the qualifying heats here in round 6 of the Series 500 Car Care Products International Speedway Masters. On the inside, Craig Watson, Marvin Cox, Adam Shields, Craig Boyce and Andy Smith on the extreme outside. A fairly even start. Marvin Cox has done what he did first time out. Got a blinder on the inside. There goes Craig Boyce trying as hard as he can on the Skilled Engineering Series 500 Jawa, trying to get around the outside of him. Andy Smith now trying to get around the outside of Craig Watson.
Watson up in third placing, and here comes Adam Shields up onto the rear of Smith's bike as they now go down past the strike line one more time. But it's Coxon's out in front, Boyce in second place. Here comes Andy Smith. Craig Watson's gone a little bit too wide, so we've now got the international riders out in front of the wild cars. But young Craig Watson is now trying to come back as Boyce goes up the inside of Cox now. So Craig Boyce, put your hands together for him so far, folks. He's done a great job. 2 laps down and 2 to go, and a fairly respectable time indeed. Here comes Craig Watson back on the inside of Andy Smith now. So Watson's now up into third placing. Boyce will get the 1 lap to go flag this time around past the strike line, and Cox, trying as hard as he possibly can, cannot run him down. It looks like Craig Watson has been able to shake off any encountering re-challenge from Andy Smith, who seems to have problems turning into turn number 1, and Adam Shields at the rear of the field. Here comes Marvin Cox with 2 corners to go. It's Boyce on the low line, Cox on the high line. Now he swaps down to the pole line, but it's going to be Boyce that takes out heat number 3. So Craig Boyce from New South Wales ahead of Marvin Cox. Craig Watson in third placing. 4th will go to Andy Smith, and 5th placing to Adam Shields in a time of 74.05. Jason Krupp is clearly the one here to watch. The fire is burning deep in the belly. Filthy about what happened to him in the previous heat. And obviously Lee Adams looking to continue his good form here. Another 4-lap journey, and we're not too far away from a start. In this, the commencement of the second round of heats. Who will it be? Lee Adams, Jason Krupp are 2 of them to watch. Away they go. Krupp got a fairly good start, but Lee Adams got an even better one. He rockets down through the first couple of corners, but look at Jason Krupp, will you? Winding up the O'Brien aluminium entry, and also another rider charging down on the low line. Looks to me to be Chris Watson, and they run almost side by side as they come out of turn number 4 the first time round. Race leader is Jason Krupp. That certainly is the reigning New South Wales champion, Chris Watson. He's up there challenging the reigning World Under-21 champion. There goes Yuri Stancils on the Greenaways entry. He now moves up into second spot on the circuit, so I've seen plenty of good passing manoeuvres in this one already. Racetrack certainly now starting to dial in, not as wet as it was, and Jason Krupp setting a cracking pace out in front for O'Brien Aluminium, the reigning World Under-21 champion and Aussie champion. Look at Chris Watson all over the shop there. Found himself a groove and got very much out of shape. That enabled, I believe, Jens Stackman to move through into third on the circuit as they now round off turn number 4 for the final time. In fact, the yellow flag now on display, and the race leader is the 20-year-old Queenslander Jason Krupp down the back straight. Racetrack is certainly starting to come in now. The times are going to be appreciably quicker. Look at the Czech Republic rider Yuri Stancil really throwing out the challenge when it's all over. Off turn 4, Jason Krupp has bounced back in the best possible way. He takes the checkered flag, the Aussie champ, and a good win aboard the O'Brien aluminium entry. Yuri Stancil home in second. Denmark's Jens Stackman finishing in third, followed further back in 4th by Lee Adams. And then it was Chris Watson, and right at the back of the pack was, of course, the young fellow Adam Shields.
We have 2 riders on maximum points thus far after their first round, and I'm referring to Craig Boyce on the inside, Simon Wigg second from the outside. They have 5 points each to their name. Look for the start there, and Boyce got a good one, but there goes Bartlett. Look at that in the white helmet colour, trying to go right around the outside of all of them was Ryan Sullivan, I believe, and on board machine number 5. There goes Simon Wigg up the inside. Up the inside of Bartlett he goes now, taking up the running of second placing, but Bartlett's not giving up, but they're both after the man out in front, and that's Craig Boyce. So Boyce from Wigg, Bartlett, Sullivan, then back is Adam Shields, I believe, and he's followed through by young Craig Watson. But nevertheless, down the back straight they go, and it's Boyce that's leading, but not for long if Wigg's got anything to say about it. The lean green racing machine taking the nice low line, goes a little bit wide on the exit of turn number 4, 2 down and 2 to go, and it's Craig Boyce that leads. Bartlett trying hard back there in the blue helmet colour and blue leathers in third placing, and riders at the back of the pack are going all over the place. So Boyce it is that charges down on the pole line now, entering onto the main straight. He'll receive the 1 lap to go flag. Back in second place it's Wigg. Bartlett now under challenge, and I believe he's under challenge from Ryan Sullivan. Sullivan trying extremely high, Bartlett going extremely wide, but our attention should be at the front of the pack. Look at Simon Wigg charging hard at the last moment. Will he be able to take it out? I don't think he will. It's going to be Craig Boyce from New South Wales. 2 from 2 for Boise. Well done. Second place goes to Wigg, third to Sullivan, fourth to Bartlett. Fifth placing there in the black helmet colour is young Craig Watson, and sixth placing goes to Charles Ermolenko.
Well, this racetrack is showing all the right signs. Moisture now starting to disappear. We've got a speedway track, folks. And we've also got the world's best talent here on display. Rick Carson desperately needs a big result here. The winner of the 5th round in Brisbane last week. Ermolenko. You've got two world champions here lining up side by side on the inside. Let's watch it. The tapes now fly. And Tony Rickardsson, the Super Swede, got the best start. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Look at them racing all over the circuit. Plenty of racing lines out there now. But the Super Swede, 25 years of age from Avesta in Sweden, aboard the O'Brien Aluminium Factory Jower. Tony Rickardsson pours off turn number 4. In second spot, you're watching the Coney Shock Absorbers entry of Sutton Sam Ermolenko, doing a terrific job out on the circuit at the moment. Then it's the second of the Swedes, Peter Carlson, aboard the Spitfire Spark Plugs entry. He whips in the top 3 in a good battle further back and forth between Marvin Cox and Andy Smith, the two Englishmen, as they now work their way off turn number 4. And Tony Rickardsson absolutely putting the cleaners through them on this occasion. The racetrack is getting better and better, and Rickardsson boots down the back straight away. He's got a brand new cam in that engine, and it's certainly paying dividends for him. He's going to win this one very easily. You're looking at one of the finest riders in World Speedway. Out of turn number 4, Tony Rickardsson. He sees the yellow flag now on display, signifying one lap of the Parramatta City Raceway venue to run. Sam Ermolenko safe in second spot for the moment, followed further back in third by Peter Carlson. Then it's Marvin Cox and Andy Smith, and Tavainen having a shocker at the back of the pack. Here comes the former world champ off turn 4. Tony Rickardsson does it aboard the O'Brien Aluminium entry. Ermolenko in second for Coney Shock Absorbers. The Spitfire Spark Plugs entry of Peter Carlson finishing in third. A man to watch on the outside, Adams, the consummate professional, immaculate in his presentation, heavily sponsored and deservedly so. Marvellous speedway talent. 3 times national champion, former world under-21 champion. A credit to the sport. As we now get set for a start, 4 laps here. Heat number 7, Adams on the extreme outside. Who will it be in this all-important heat? Waiting now for the Series 500 tapes to fly. They do that now, and look at Lee Adams rearing out of the starting gate. Looks to me to be the Swedish rider, Peter Carlson, who takes the race lead on settling down. Then the West Australian flyer, Greg Bartlett in second spot. Lee Adams back in third. Look at the racetrack now. They've got plenty of racing lines out there, and Adams is on the gas as he comes off turn number 4. He's going to try and give an inside manoeuvre here to Greg Bartlett as they swoop through turns 1 and 2. Plenty of dirt now starting to appear up high on this circuit. Peter Carlson, though, the Swedish rider, is a comfortable race leader for Spitfire Spark Plugs as he rounds out turn number 4. He leads by a fairly comprehensive margin, about 10-15 metres. Lee Adams trying very hard to get down on the inside of Greg Bartlett, but the popular Perth-based rider giving a ton of cheek in this one at the moment. They reel the laps off here at the Parramatta City Raceway. Look at Lee Adams now trying to find a way by on the outside. He's skating up very high on the racetrack. The race leader, Peter Carlson, is gone. Adams switches lines and storms up on the inside of Greg Bartlett. That's the sign of a real champion. Lee Adams never gives up. They've seen the yellow flag. They're inside the last racing lap now. Adams has had a problem. Look at Bartlett coming back at him now. And also a good battle a long way further back in the field. Race leader, though, is Peter Carlson, the Swede. He comes off turn number 4 and does it very, very convincingly, let me tell you. Puts the Spitfire Spark Plugs entry across the line. In second spot, Lee Adams aboard the Series 500 machine. Then for Newport, it was Greg Bartlett in third. In fourth, it was Charles Ermolenko.
So Boyce with 10 points, Ermolenko 9, Stackman 5, Sullivan 3, Watson 1, and Tavainen yet to open up his account tonight. Who will it be? Will it be Boyce or will it be Ermolenko? They're side by side on the start line. Neither of them got a good start. Ollie Tavainen cracked the beauty there and read it like a dream. And look at Boyce, split them like a banana, popping out of the skin. Down the back straight they go, and it's Boyce that leads at the moment, only just ahead of Brian Sullivan. Tavainen's still in there with a good chance, and they're coming around pit turn 3 wide as they hit the main straight. It's Boyce from Sullivan back there in second placing, who slots himself up the inside. Boyce now goes the low line as Sullivan drifts high, and it's Boyce that gets superior traction down the back straight. So it's Boyce from Sullivan. In third placing, it's Tavainen, and what a cracker start he's had. But up the inside in the blue helmet colour comes Jan Stackman, the dashing Dane. He balked the finish rider there, only just long enough, and Sam Ermolenko back there in fifth placing. Now Bart storms his way up, almost takes on the Tavainen's front wheel out there, and goes up into fourth placing. As we settle down with one more lap to go, it's Craig Boyce that leads. He's out in front of Jan Stackman that's come up the inside of Brian Sullivan, and Sullivan hence has been relegated back to third. Sam Ermolenko in fourth, Ollie Tavainen in fifth, and last but by no means least at the moment in the white helmet colour is Chris Watson. Into turns 3 and 4 they go. Great Boyce is going to be on an absolute maximum. 3 starts, a hat-trick and wins, but here comes a dashing Dane. Whoa, right on the line there. Was it in fact Jan Stackman or was it Craig Boyce? I'll give it to Boyce. Stackman second, Sullivan third. I think fourth placing went to Ermolenko, fifth to Tavainen, and sixth to Chris Watson.
Watch Crumpy on the outside. Have we got any Jason Crump fans out there, Sydney? The reigning Aussie champ, we're set for a start. Green lights now on, the tape's flying. Look at Crumpy on the extreme outside. He got a blinder. But the Swedish world champion, Tony Rickardson, also got a good start. There they go. Back straightaway, racetrack pretty rough. Jason Crump boots down on the inside of Marvin Cox. Now where is Simon Wigg? He's back running fifth. Quite incredible for him as they now thunder off turn number 4 the first time round. Rickardson is the race leader. In Jason Crump, we have our man running second on the circuit, followed by Marvin Cox. Now keep your eyes on the battle up front. Jason Crump, very tenacious. He will never give in the Australian champion as he chases them now through turns 3 and 4. Both of them sponsored by O'Brien Aluminium. A marvellous advert for Ron O'Brien as they thunder down the main straight here at the Parramatta City Raceway. Crump chooses to run the low line. There goes the Aussie champ. Oh, they got very close together on the circuit there. Rickardson and Crump, a credit to both of their abilities. Simon Wigg, I cannot believe, is struggling at the back of the pack in this one. Race leader is Tony Rickardson now inside the last lap. Go on, Parramatta, let's get behind the Aussie champ Crumpy as he runs down on the inside. The gap is closed appreciably. They're separated by a couple of metres. Crump had a problem there on his exit to turn number 2. It's going to be the Super Swede off turn number 4. He's going to take it. Rickardson takes the checker. Jason Crump kept trying right down to the checkered flag. Then it's Yuri Stansel. Geez, having a good consistent night, the young Czech rider Yuri Stansel. Then it was Marvin Cox. A long way back in the field was Craig Watson and Simon Wigg, 5 times world champ. Obviously having mechanical dramas in that race. You don't see Simon Wigg running last. Okay, here we go, the C final. Second time, the tape's flying again. Andy Smith got a fairly good start. Chris Watson, though, on the extreme inside, got a better one. And a few of them there go skating up very high on the circuit. Well, Chris Watson tears away with this one, the New South Wales champion. The man to watch is Andy Smith, currently in 4th. As a couple of riders go by on the inside of him, but no doubting the race leader at the moment. His name is Chris Watson, and he thunders across the strike. In second spot, we've got the American Charles Ermolenko. Then further back in third, the young Craig Watson, who's chasing very hard at the moment. Then it's Andy Smith and Ollie Tavane, and tailed off. May as well not be here to finish, rider. An absolute waste of space here tonight. Down the main straightaway they run, and Craig Watson is doing a very good job now. He's passed on the inside of Charles Ermolenko, so we've now got Watson and Watson, no relation. Chris Watson, the New South Wales champion, leading this event with about 1.5 laps remaining. In second spot, it's young Craig Watson. What a terrific young talent this guy is. He now accelerates out of turn number 4. Track a little on the slick side, but they're doing a terrific job with it, sliding the Speedway bikes now. Back straight away for the final time. Chris Watson is certainly going to get home in this one. There's not much you can say about Craig Watson. In this case, he just keeps on trying, doesn't he? A terrific young talent. Out of turn number 4 they run, and the set's not flyer. Chris Watson is going to take victory in the C final, and he does so. In second spot, Craig Watson. In third, as it turned out, Ollie Tavane picking up a third.
On the inside, look for a flying start from the Czech Republic rider Stansel. Look out for Marvin Cox from England, although he's based in Germany, lives in Germany. He's in the blue from 2. Lightning Lee Adams. Look at Sullivan on the outside, get a good start, but so too does the Perth-based Greg Bartlett. And Bartlett it goes extremely wide there. But it's Yuri Stansel in the red helmet colour. Down the back straight they go. Up into second place, it's Bartlett. Third placing at the moment, I believe, is Adams in the white helmet colour. He's followed by Stackman trying to go extremely wide there, so wide that he had to pull it up with an anchor thrown out the back of the bike. But it's Stansel. Young Georgie is his nickname. Now almost side by good buddies. Greg Bartlett down the back straight they go. It's Bartlett trying the high line, Stansel on the low line. Look for Bartlett to drive down on the inside. And no, he's not. He's elected to go right round the outside on Stansel that time around. So Bartlett, he's almost gone off. He's definitely gone off that time. It hands the race lead over to Stansel. Bartlett's up off his feet. The bike did a 360, a 720, probably even more than that. But down the back straight goes our 3rd, 4th and 5th riders, one of them having mechanical problems. But Stansel, he's going to be a deserved winner in this in the red helmet colour. The Danish rider Jan Stackman back there in second placing. Third placing is being held down by Ryan Sullivan, and it looks like it's Lee Adams back there in 4th. That's the way they'll finish. Stansel will take victory. Second placing will go to Stackman. Third placing to Ryan Sullivan.
4 laps, 20 valuable series points up for grabs, and here we go. Behind the tapes, away we go. A terrific start by Ermolenko over on the inside. Tony Rickardson also got a blinder. And launch out now for Craig Boyce as he sweeps around the outside. Speedway riders all over the place here. And Rickardson and Ermolenko, the 2 world champs, are running side by side. Now it's Tony Rickardson, the Swede, who has taken the race lead. Sam Ermolenko, though, is going to continue to destroy him on the outside. He tries extremely hard. There's this guy, and now he switches lines. Ricardson goes off the circuit. You are kidding. The former world champion has made a monster mistake, and it's going to cost him dearly in this his championship defence of the Series 500 title. Race leader with a few to go is Sam Ermolenko across the straight. Then it's Craig Boyce, followed further back in third by Jason Crump. This is going to ensure that Craig Boyce stays in front of this series, I can tell you. Jason Crump is trying extremely hard, but it would seem to be the American, fortuitous albeit, because Tony Ricardson has made a major blunder. Ermolenko sees the race lead now inside the Ross Racing lap, and there is no catching Sudden Sam in this one. He's going to win this one by a mile. Boyce in second spot, Jason Crump trying very hard in third spot, but they've had to battle different track conditions tonight, folks. What about up for the A finalists? The winner of round 6, Sudden Sam Ermolenko. Across the strike, the American takes victory for Coney Shock Absorbers. Then it's Craig Boyce aboard the Skilled Engineering entry. He will most certainly continue to lead the series after this one.
Welcome back. You're watching Checkered Flag on Sports Australia. Round 9 of the International Speedway Masters Series from the Newcastle International Motordrome now comes your way. Rider to watch in this first heat, Craig Boyce on the extreme right-hand side of your screen aboard the Skilled Engineering Jower. Current series leader, not too far away from a start now. The tapes now fly, and Boyce over on the inside got a lightning start. Also quickly into stride is the Novocastrian rider Stephen Davies. That's him on the right of screen, now moving up into second spot on the racetrack, but there is no doubting the style or the skill of Craig Boyce, the man that leads the series by 10 points heading into tonight's 9th round. He leads them up the main straight first time round. In second spot is the Newcastle-based rider Stephen Davies, 3-time New South Wales champion. That's him now on centre screen, and right beside him, or right behind him in fact, is Ollie Tavainen from Finland aboard the Containers Packaging Jower. Down the main straight, they run one more time, and the race leader is Craig Boyce, keeping him down nice and low on the racetrack. Keep your eyes on the style of this man. He drops the left leg off the foot peg, and never at any time does it really touch the ground. He only uses that foot to really balance the machine, and that's a sign of a very good rider, very well balanced indeed. As the white flag is now on display, there's one lap of this 400-metre Newcastle Motordrome to run, and you are looking at the race leader Craig Boyce. He's riding with loads of confidence at the moment, and that's why he leads the series. Now out of turn number 4, he takes the checkered flag comfortably. In second spot it will be Stephen Davies, then Ollie Tavainen in third, Charles Ermolenko, Craig Watson, and at the back of the pack the British champion Andy Smith in a race time of 63.39 seconds. Next event on the program, heat number 2. Huge crowd here at the Newcastle International Motordrome. That's the reigning South Australian champion Ryan Sullivan starting on the inside, blue helmet colour. Another full-out journey, and away we go. A very good even start as they got away on equal terms. Marvin Cox, the dashing Englishman, that's him in the green helmet colour, running straight to the race lead down the back straight away the first time. He got a terrific start from the centre of the pack. Waiting to see now how it settles down. A good battle between Ryan Sullivan and also the 5 times world long track champion Simon Week. He's wearing the green iridescent leathers, and he settles down in third spot on the circuit. You're currently looking at the man in second spot, Ryan Sullivan, in addition to being the reigning South Australian champion, also the current Australian under-21 champion. He at the moment has got his sights firmly set on the territory of the race leader Marvin Cox. They're separated by about 5 or 6 metres on the circuit. Marvin Cox now just a couple of laps left to run in this one, and he heads the field now through turns 3 and 4 for yet another occasion. The Englishman, former European champion, reels off another lap. Yellow flag on display. There's one lap of the Newcastle Motordrome to run. Marvin Cox leading fairly comfortably here. Ryan Sullivan, the current South Australian champion, can make no impression on the Englishman, and Cox, the race leader, now comes off turn 4 for the final time, and he takes this one fairly comfortably. Down to the lane he runs. In second it was Ryan Sullivan. Third of the checkered flag, Simon Wigg, in a pretty brisk race time. Heat number 3 of 12 qualifying heats next on the program. The clash of the champions, the world champions. Ricardson, Ermolenko, Jason Crump as well. We go Speedway racing in the $1 million Series 500 International Masters. And look at the drag race up front. The American Sam Ermolenko on the inside of the reigning Australian champion Jason Crump. Neither of them giving an inch here, but the American shakes off the Australian riders' challenge momentarily. The Coney Shock Absorbers entry of Ermolenko blasts across the strike. In second spot is Jason Crump. Look at the power that Sam Ermolenko is generating from the back wheel on that motorcycle. He's running up high on the dirt and getting maximum traction here at the Newcastle Motordrome. He is the race leader, the 1993 world champion. In second spot is Jason Crump. Then the Super Swede, the defending Series 500 title holder. That's him on screen there, the 25-year-old from Avesta in Sweden, Tony Ricardson. He tries very hard to bridge the gap between himself and his nearest rival, Jason Crump. But in the meantime, the American Sam Ermolenko shows them what it's all about. He's already won 3 rounds of the 8 rounds completed in this tournament so far. There's the former triple national champ Lee Adams working up on the inside of Chris Watson. But Sam Ermolenko comes out of turn 4. He pops a wheelie in celebration, defeating Jason Crump. The very fast finishing Tony Ricardson there, finishing up in 3rd spot. Fabulous speedway here at the Newcastle International Motordrome. Another quality bunch of riders set to do battle. In this, the 4th qualifying heat, we get set for a start. Craig Boyce, the form man of this tournament so far, came into tonight's 9th round of the Newcastle Motordrome, leading by 10 points. And look at him go in 2nd spot as he chases the reigning British champion Andy Smith down the back straight. Not for long though. Craig Boyce, the Sydney rider, former world number 3, runs by on the inside. Hence relegates Andy Smith back to 2nd on the circuit. Lee Adams now from Mildura in Victoria runs 3rd down on the inside. He in fact might move up 1 more spot here. He's got some shakes there in the front. Will Lee Adams? That might be putting him off just a tad. But Craig Boyce is the race leader down the main straight of the Newcastle Motordrome. You can see the gap there very clearly between 1st and 2nd. It is a sizable one. Andy Smith in 2nd. Lee Adams now switches lines. One gets the feeling that Adams just needs a clean run at the British champion and he'll swoop around the outside or cut by on the inside. It might happen here in fact. Andy Smith runs up wide on the circuit. Yellow flag now on display. Your race leader is Craig Boyce. In the meantime, Lee Adams is supplying all the pressure in the world to the British champion Andy Smith. But look at the style and the grace of this man out in front. Craig Boyce is going to do this one easily. He takes the skilled engineering Jara across the line. Andy Smith just lasted to get 2nd on the line ahead of Lee Adams, who did not give up right down at the checkered flag in his quest to try and pinch 2nd place from Andy Smith. Well, Craig Boyce, a fine win yet again, riding with lots of zest and confidence. Next event, again, a star-studded cast of the fast. Big crowd here at the Newcastle Motordrome. Perfect weather conditions. That's the Swedish rider, Peter Carlson, on the inside as the tapes flew. He was certainly the best to begin, but his fellow Swede, Tony Ricardson, runs around from the outside of the racetrack. That's him now on centre screen. He takes the race lead. Ricardson, the defending Series 500 title holder, the 1994 World Speedway champion. In the same year, he won the Swedish title and led Sweden to victory in the World Team Cup. He's done everything there is to do in World Speedway, as Charles Ermolenko there in the white helmet colour gives the Czech Republic rider Yuri Stancil the go-by. As our camera now comes back to the sharp end of the race pack, you'll see Ricardson is the race leader. In 2nd spot is the other Swede in this field, Peter Carlson, who last summer in the British League 1995 finished in the top 4. A very classy performer indeed. One of the most consistent speedway riders in the world. He can't get on equal terms here though with his fellow Swede Tony Ricardson. Without a doubt the world's most aggressive rider. He's riding for O'Brien Aluminium aboard the Jawa, the factory supplied Jawa. And Ricardson now inside the last half lap is going to do this one very comfortably. He now steers his machine off turn 4 and takes it easily. Peter Carlson finished in 2nd ahead of the flashy Finn, Olli Tuvainen, who was next and best of the rest in 3rd spot. Ricardson, Carlson and Tuvainen. Halfway through the qualifying heats now. Trust you're enjoying the action on Sports Australia. Official telecaster of the International Speedway Masters. Away we go again. The tapes fly here at Newcastle, and best to begin from the extreme outside. In fact, there was Ryan Sullivan, but not for long because the reigning Australian champion Jason Crump took the race lead. Look at Simon Wigg in the green leathers there, black and yellow helmet. He came through from 4th and went by Ryan Sullivan so quickly, but Sullivan almost caught Yamoni with the breeze. Now it's Sam Ermolenko, in fact, who moves up into 2nd, hence relegates the Englishman, the 5-time world champion Simon Wigg, back to 3rd on the circuit. Let's see how it pans out. There's riders all over the circuit here at Newcastle. Don't know where to look. It is Jason Crump, a clear-cut race leader. Sam Ermolenko will be trying very hard inside the last couple of laps to steal the gap or to make up the gap between he and his nearest rival, which is that man out in front, Jason Crump, who tonight has his machine, the O'Brien Aluminium GM, working particularly well, and he's riding with plenty of confidence, the reigning world under-21 champion. He got a little untidy there on the exit to turn number 2. That hence enabled Sam Ermolenko to move just a little bit closer, but not close enough. The reigning national and world under-21 champ takes it. Ermolenko really served it up to him right on the line, finished about 1 metre further back in 2nd. Then it was Simon Wigg in 3rd in a very respectable race time, and the crowd here at Newcastle really enjoying watching the world's best in action. Heat number 7 sees the return to the racetrack, the 400-metre venue here at Newcastle, of the all-conquering Craig Boyce. He meets Sam Ermolenko and Simon Wigg, as well as Olli Tuvainen. Away we go now. Yuri Stancil there got a shocker at the start. The Czech Republic rider, he got left languishing when the tapes flew. Look at Craig Boyce drag racing down the back straightaway here with Sam Ermolenko. They're now separated on the circuit by a couple of metres. Craig Boyce for skilled engineering aboard the Jower. He comes across the strike. Terrific speedway here. They're all over the circuit. Ermolenko second. Simon Wigg is trying very hard further back in third. But you're watching the style of the current series leader, Craig Boyce. Remarkable when you consider that this tournament comprised 13 rounds last summer. But one of those 13 rounds was won by an Australian rider. This year that has not been the case. Craig Boyce, this man on screen, won the second round at Perth's Claremont Speedway, and he's only been off the podium once. Up to tonight's 9th round at Newcastle, it has been a superb performance. There is the yellow flag signifying one lap of the Newcastle Motordrome to run, and Craig Boyce, in quest of more dirt, he drifts up high on the circuit, looking to put the rear wheel in the dirt so he can get maximum traction. Now he cuts down low on the circuit. A terrific rider, powerhouse performance by the Sydney sider. Boyce takes it. Ermolenko, Sam that was second on the line, ahead of Simon Wigg. Big win by Craig Boyce, and he's the man to beat clearly in this series. Now it's heat number 8. How can you possibly predict a winner with any degree of confidence? A star-studded field which includes 5 world champions. 9 of the 16 rider troopers selected to ride in this year's World Championship, which means they're in the top 16 in the world. Marvin Cox and Jason Crump run side by side, almost now completing the first lap in this all-important heat. Cox now it is, who crosses from the outside, relegates Jason Crump back to second. Lee Adams also now coming up into this one aboard the Series 500 GM. He makes a bold charge on the inside of Jason Crump, but all to no avail when you think about the fact that Marvin Cox is a couple of metres and well clear in this one. Cox now puts his machine through turns 1 and 2. Jason Crump is still second, having a terrific battle with Lee Adams. But the dashing Englishman, the former European champion, Marvin Cox, who will certainly ride in this year's World Championship by virtue of his outstanding consistency last year. Crump and Adams are still hard at it for the battle between second and third, but Marvin Cox has this one in the bag at the moment, leads by a couple of metres. It's still Adams and Crump fighting tenaciously for second and third, but Marvin Cox takes it. Adams gets across the line with his front wheel in the air manger. He gets second ahead of Jason Crump. That was worth the price of admission alone, that battle for second and third, but Cox takes it. Heat number 9 sees Tony Ricardson, the defending Series 500 champ, return to the circuit. The tapes now fly, and Ricardson it was that got the best of the jump from the inside line. That's the Novocastrian rider Stephen Davies, who last summer rode in the entire 13 rounds of this series. He's up running second and doing a good job ahead of the South Australian champion Ryan Sullivan. Ricardson, though, is the race leader. There goes Ryan Sullivan now blasting up on the inside of Stephen Davies. No love lost there, let me tell you. And back and forth at the back of the pack at the moment is the consecutive British champion Andy Smith, who became the first English rider to win a hat-trick of British titles. Race leader is Tony Ricardson, and barring any unforeseen circumstances or mechanical failure, he's going to win this one very comfortably indeed. You're now looking at Ryan Sullivan, the reigning South Aussie and Australian under-21 champion, and he was the rider you saw about 4 weeks ago win the 4th round of this tournament, conducted in front of his home crowd at the Wayville venue in Adelaide. Race leader though, Ricardson, has already greeted the yellow flag with the black diagonal stripe. There's one lap of the Motordrome to run here at Newcastle. Crowd are really warming to this world-class entertainment tonight as Ricardson moves his machine off turn 4 with plenty of class. He takes it. Ryan Sullivan was second. Stephen Davies finished third ahead of the British champion Andy Smith, who really is struggling here tonight by his very high standards. Well, who will it be? Craig Boyce is back on the circuit again as we go racing, and no surprise at all to see the Sydney side of Craig Boyce get the best of that jump, and he takes his skilled engineering Jower straight to the race lead. He's being pursued down the back straight by Charles Ermolenko, and now also Stephen Davies moving up on the inside. Good speedway here. It's Craig Boyce, the race leader, Charles Ermolenko in second, Stephen Davies in third. The man in the white helmet you're looking at on the left of screen is Olli Tupainen from Finland. He's been a 4-time champion of Finland, former Swedish long track champion, and a fine rider indeed. Now starting to put plenty of pressure on the man in third spot, Stephen Davies. That's the battle you're watching. Davies on the inside. Now you're watching Charles Ermolenko in second, wearing the black helmet colour aboard the Proven Products entry. He's had a very up and down series, Charles Ermolenko, rated in the top 20 in the British League averages, but he really hasn't shown us that kind of form in his down under campaign so far. Boyce now with all the time in the world, takes a peek over the left shoulder. He's a long, long way in front, and this man is going to prove impossible to stop here at Newcastle Motordrome tonight. Undefeated so far this evening. He takes the checker. Charles Ermolenko in second, and Stephen Davies finishing further back in third. Heat number 11. The penultimate qualifying heat here, and what a field we have. A number of world champions here as we now go racing. Sam Ermolenko, he's one of them on the extreme outside. Jason Crump, who's having a bonza night here tonight at Newcastle, takes the race lead, and he gets his head over the top of the handlebars, almost road racing style. Jason Crump, who makes no secret of the fact that he does aspire to be one day World 500cc road racing champion. Let's hope that doesn't happen, because Speedway needs him to stay around for a long time to come. That's Lee Adams you're now watching aboard the Series 500 Jawa. He's in second spot. He's shaken the challenge off of Sam Ermolenko, the American 1993 world champion. In fact, now Tony Ricardson, the 1994 world champion from Sweden, has moved up to third on the circuit. No catching Crumpy, though, the son of a gun, the son of former 4-times national champion and multiple world finalist Phil Crump. Comes off turn number 4, and Jason Crump doing it with consummate ease. Yellow flag on display. There's one lap to run. I'll tell you what, though, Lightning Lee Adams from Victoria is making one heck of a race out of this one now. He moves to within striking distance of Jason Crump inside the last half lap. He's only got one corner left to negotiate the Queenslander, and Crump takes the win. Not an easy one, mind you. It was Lee Adams finishing very quickly in second, and then Tony Ricardson in third, who I think would be a little bit frustrated at the moment. Final qualifying heat now. Riders will be seated into either the C, B or A final. On the other side of this four-lap journey, the taste flyer, Simon Wigg's the man to watch here. He got the best start in the centre of the pack. The white helmet colour goes straight to the race lead. What a career he's had, and look at the charge of the Light Brigade down the back straight. There's three of them, almost inseparable on the circuit. That's Marvin Cox running high, wide and handsome on the circuit, and he goes straight around the outside of Peter Colson, and as a result of that finds himself in second spot, looking at the back wheel of his fellow countryman, the other Englishman, Simon Wigg. And what a career Simon Wigg's had. 5 times world long track champion. He's been a winner of more than 500 individual events and has ridden in a staggering 22 world final appearances, when you include speedway, long track and of course grass track, his other specialty. Now the battle's on in earnest between Greg Bartlett on the left of screen and Ryan Sullivan, who's on the right hand side of your screen. That's the battle for 4th and 5th. Really immaterial, utopian when you consider the gap that Simon Wigg has got down the back straightaway. He heads them very comfortably, in fact, getting over the top of the handlebars, and a clear-cut race leader, Simon Wigg. He was the man I was talking about a moment ago. He's done everything there is to do in the sport, and he does it again here. Checkered flag for him, Marvin Cox finishing in second spot, and Peter Colson was further back in third. Now time for the C final for the bottom 5 qualifiers in tonight's meeting. Set now for a start, and away we go. The British champion Andy Smith on the inside was fairly slick to begin when the taste flew. Also moving very quickly towards the lead is the Perth-based rider Greg Bartlett. He picked up some drive there and in fact lifted the front wheel of the machine. And this is a terrific battle between the British champion and the West Australian Greg Bartlett, who skates around the outside of the racetrack. That is the place to be on the Newcastle circuit this time of night. Get your back wheel up high on the circuit in the dirt, pick up some drive, and that's exactly what Greg Bartlett do. And he's got his Trucker Time sponsored machine flying now. Out of turn number 4, he's relegated Andy Smith to second on the circuit. Further back in third at the moment is Yuri Stancil, the rider from the Czech Republic, who entered this tournament in the summer of 95-96 as a debutant, and has been pretty consistent so far, but struggling tonight on this Newcastle circuit, which is really a horsepower track. There's plenty of opportunity to exercise the maximum drive from your engine, and Greg Bartlett is doing that at the moment. He took a nasty spill earlier in the night, this guy, but has bounced back brilliantly. Greg Bartlett now inside the last half lap. He will certainly win the C final here tonight at the Newcastle Motordrome. Here he comes now out of turn 4, checker on display. Andy Smith in second, Yuri Stancil in third. And forget about the others in that one. A good win there by a very popular rider in Greg Bartlett. Only been riding Speedway for a short time. Now the B final. As a reflection of the quality of this field, Just look at the standard of the riders contesting the B final. You've got Lee Adams for a start, former World Under-21 champion and former triple national champion. He takes the race lead as the tapes blue. Peter Coulson now goes down on the inside of Lee Adams, and that was a very bold manoeuvre. Lee Adams has fired up. He's not going to take that finally. He gets the wheel in the dirt and charges back around the outside. We've seen two changes of lead at the end of the first racing lap in this one. It is Lee Adams. That's the man on screen you're watching. He's the race leader. Coulson now charging back on the inside, and Ryan Sullivan is further back in third on the CYV Productions entry. Race leader Lee Adams has a look over the left shoulder. No need to do that, Lee. You've got plenty of challenges, including Peter Coulson, who decides to run up high on the circuit. Not far to go now in this one, the B final. Plenty of points up for grabs. Lee Adams, you're looking at, he's been very consistent. Finished second at the Gunnedah circuit on Friday night in the 8th round of this tournament. Yellow flag now on display. That means he's got one lap of the 400-metre Newcastle Motordrome to run. Lee Adams is the race leader. He's getting over the top of the handlebars, one of the smoothest riders in the business. In fact, they call him the book for good reason. The classic style of Lee Adams off turn 4 just got there in the end. Peter Coulson certainly really gave a big fight, and Stephen Davies was finishing third on the line ahead of Ryan Sullivan. A final, round 9, $1 million Series 500 International Masters. The big points up for grab here. Craig Boyce comes into the final unbeaten with a 20-point maximum. Away we go now. Jason Crump's the race leader. It was Craig Boyce now getting very quickly into stride. Oh, they came very close together there on the circuit. In fact, Boyce almost put his left foot straight through the rear wheel of Jason Crump's machine. Crump's the race leader. There goes Boyce down on the inside now. They are side by side as they approach turns 1 and 2, and Craig Boyce takes the race lead. Well, this guy is riding with so much hunger. He wants to win this series badly for Australia, and he's given his fellow Australian Jason Crump the go by. And Craig Boyce, who has been undefeated here tonight, by far the most consistent rider in this tournament so far, heads them down the back straight. A clear-cut race leader. Jason Crump's in second. Sam Ermolenko, the 1993 American World Champions, further back in third, under heavy pressure from Tony Ricardson, the 1994 World Champion. Well, Craig Boyce now inside the last lap. The crowd here at Newcastle are standing as one. They've really appreciated the performance, the magnificent performance of this man here tonight. Craig Boyce out of turn 4, and he wins the 9th round of the $1 million series. The crowd goes up. Jason Crump in second. Third was Sam Ermolenko, followed further back in fourth by Tony Ricardson. Great win there by Craig Boyce. Next Saturday night we move to the Brisbane Exhibition Ground for the grand final. You'll see that here exclusively on Sports Australia. Make sure you join us then. Trust you've enjoyed this edition of Checkered Flag. We'll see you next week in the same time slot. Bye for now. The world's best have assembled from 7 countries. They're here from Sweden, the US, England, Finland, Denmark and the Czech Republic, preparing for battle with the awesome Aussies. This is the grand final, the 10th and final round of Australian Speedway's biggest crown, the $1 million Series 500 International Speedway Masters. 16 riders, including an incredible 5 world champions. On Sports Australia, we take you trackside to one of the world's great stadiums, the Brisbane Exhibition Ground, as the world's bravest men run side by side in quest of Speedway's biggest prize. A huge crowd is assembled here at the world-famous Brisbane Exhibition Ground, which certainly is one of the most beautiful Speedway stadiums anywhere in the world. Hello, I'm David Tapp. Terrific to have your company for this very special motorsport presentation on Sports Australia, the grand final of the $1 million Series 500 International Speedway Masters. The event commenced in Australia on the 30th of December 1995, and since that point in time, this travelling super troupe have covered some 17,500 kilometres as they've crossed 5 states of Australia. The grand final tonight, it all comes down to this meeting. Currently it's Sydney's former world number 3 Craig Boyce that leads the series. It's appropriate now we take a look at the point score at the end of 9 completed rounds. That's the way it looks with Craig Boyce on top of the world currently, 150 points. He leads the American 1993 world champion Sam Ermolenko by 19 points. Ermolenko can still win this championship tonight. Tony Ricardson, the defending Series 500 champion, third on 126. The battle still very much alive for second, third and fourth in this tournament. Currently fourth, Lee Adams, 117. Then it's Jason Crump, 1 point behind. Simon Wigg, the 5 times world champion, on 107. Followed further back by Peter Colson, Marvin Cox, Ryan Sullivan, Greg Bartlett, Ollie Tervainen on 47 points. Then Yuri Stansel from the Czech Republic, Jan Stackman, Charles Ermolenko and Andy Smith. The $1 million tournament got underway at the magnificent Bunbury Speedway in Western Australia for the second consecutive year. On a superbly prepared racing surface, the world's best riders turned on a memorable show. Just as he had done the year prior, it was England's 5 times world champion Simon Wigg that put first points on the board. But in the meantime, it's Wiggy. Simon Wigg lifts the front wheel in delight. He takes... On New Year's Day, the travelling Super Troupe made the 200-kilometre journey back to Perth's Claremont Showground for round 2. An incredible meeting that produced breathtaking racing. The huge crowd got exactly what they'd come to see, an Aussie victory, as Sydney's Craig Boyce became the first Australian ever to win a round of the series. He punched the skilled engineering jar off turn 4 and becomes the first Aussie to win a round. Next stop was Olympic Park Speedway in Mildura, and a record crowd turned up to watch the world's best strut their stuff. It was 1993 American world champion Sam Ermolenko at his brilliant best. And the charismatic American, the 1993 world title holder, takes the checkered flag. 3 rounds, 3 different winners. Adelaide's Plus Wavell Showground was the venue for round 4, and a monster crowd exceeding 10,000 fans had the night of their life. It was an emotion-charged evening, as Adelaide's Ryan Sullivan pulled off one of the biggest wins of his flourishing career.
Here we go! Racing now, 4 laps of distance. Ryan Sullivan got a good start. Tony Ricardson also got away very quickly. Look at Ryan Sullivan! He takes the race lead back straight away. Yellow flag on display. There goes Simon Wigg now. Trudging high, white hands on the circuit. Ryan Sullivan's the race leader. Back straight away. Go Ryan, go! He's got 2 corners left to negotiate. Come on, Adelaide, up the backside. This is Ryan Sullivan's greatest moment. He's done it! Oh, yeah!
Following Adelaide was round 5 at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. A remarkable night's racing, culminating in a race they're calling the greatest of the modern era, with Sweden's Tony Ricardson the star attraction.
Charge of the Light Brigade as this quality quartet thundered through turns 3 and 4 the first time round. The Australian rider Lee Adams has taken the lead momentarily. Look at this racing as they head down the back straightaway. Tony Ricardson, the race leader. Lee Adams trying hard on the inside. He now gets to the front, but Ricardson fights back, and Ermolenko on the outside. They go across the strike. Anybody's race. It was Tony Ricardson who got there.
You know, I had a really good start, came out of the bend, but I just couldn't get the speed enough, you know, to go wide for them. I couldn't pick a good line because I got Lee on the inside, I got Sam on the outside, so I didn't know where to go. So I like sort of ended up in no man's land in the middle, and they were just pushing me all the time. And Lee passed me once, I got him back, and then I thought Sam gonna go by me on the outside. It was like, whoa, you know, it was too much. I had to look straight forward and go for it.
The grueling tour then moved to Sydney for round 6 at Parramatta Raceway. Constant heavy rain during the lead-up to the event meant track conditions were tricky. Sam Ermolenko took full advantage of a mistake by defending Series 500 champion Tony Ricardson. The charismatic Californian blasted to his second consecutive victory in the tournament.
Monster mistake, and it's going to cost him dearly in this his championship defence of the Series 500 title. Race leader with a few to go is Sam Ermolenko across the strike, but they've had to battle different track conditions tonight, folks. What about up for the A finals? The winner of round 6, Sutton, Sam Ermolenko. Across the strike, the American takes victory for Coney.
Round 7 was staged at Geelong's Avalon Raceway, with Ermolenko making it 2 in a row. The series then headed to Blue Vale Speedway in Gunnedah for the first time. Tony Ricardson hit back by taking a thrilling A final from Lee Adams and Craig Boyce. The following day saw round 9 contested at the Newcastle Motordrome. A superb night of racing saw series leader Craig Boyce reel off an unbeaten maximum. Well, Craig Boyce now inside the last lap. The crowd here at Newcastle are standing as one. They've really appreciated the performance, the magnificent performance of this man here tonight. Craig Boyce out of turn 4, and he wins the 9th round of the $1 Million Series. The crowd goes up. Yes, it's been a fantastic show so far. Lots of wonderful racing, superb entertainment, and the atmosphere here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground is electric. The crowd can really anticipate an Australian victory for the first time in this $1 Million Series. Now the first qualifying heat of 20 comes your way. Sam and Malenko rides in red from the inside. Marvin Cox in blue from 2. Lee Adams in white from 3, and Craig Boyce on the extreme outside in yellow. A 4-lap journey as we now get set for a start. The Series 500 tapes fly, and away they go, the first of 20 qualifying heats, and it is the enforcer. Craig Boyce from the extreme outside whips across and takes the race lead. He gets over the top of the handlebars, almost road racing style, and he leads this high-speed freight train through the top couple of corners first time round. You can see the gap there. Craig Boyce leads Sam and Malenko by a good 5 metres. Good battle further back in the pack between Marvin Cox and the other rider, Lee Adams. But there is the style of Craig Boyce. He's got the Series 500 skilled engineering Jower absolutely flying on this circuit, and in fact he's stretching his lead, the Sydney sider. Craig Boyce blasts back down the main straight. 2 laps now remaining in this one, and the gap is very, very big indeed. Boyce has really cleared out. A great battle. Malenko, Marvin Cox, followed by Lee Adams in the back of the pack. That's not the way Lee Adams wanted to start in this one. He really needs a confidence booster heading into tonight's grand final. That's 2nd, 3rd and 4th you're looking at now. Yellow flag on display. There's 1 lap of the world-famous Brisbane Exhibition Ground to run. And look at the gap that Craig Boyce has opened up between he and his nearest rival, which is the American former world champion, Malenko. Boyce has a look over the left shoulder. He takes victory in the first heat, and a very comfortable one too. Malenko home in 2nd, followed further back in 3rd by Marvin Cox. Race time was 67.05. Well, what about Craig Boyce, 28 years of age, born in Sydney, triple winner of the New South Wales Championship, former national champion, has won 3 British League titles, a magnificent career this guy, 3rd in the World Championship in 1994, and Doug Adams is with him.
Must have been very pleased with the start in that first race of the last series.
Yeah, I'm very happy. My skilled engineering machine is going really well at the moment. Made a start off gate 4 with 3 good guys in the race, so good way to start the meet, so I'm very happy.
A perfect way for Craig Boyce to start tonight's meeting. The glamour here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground, a huge crowd, and this is really what world-class Speedway is all about. Next event on the program sees Tony Ricardson, the defending Series 500 champion, starts in red. Simon Wigg, blue. Peter Carlson, white. Jason Crump in yellow. As the tapes now fly, away we go. It's the reigning national champion, Jason Crump, the Queenslander, and the current world under-21 champion. He got an outstanding start from the extreme outside and already stretches a very comfortable lead. Simon Wigg and Tony Ricardson enjoying a wonderful battle here for 2nd and 3rd. The Swedish 25-year-old rider Ricardson has the best of that battle for the time being, and Simon Wigg is further back in 3rd, and Peter Carlson, the 2nd of the Swedish riders in this heat, unfortunately for him, can't keep up with them at the moment. Well, Jason Crump is setting this field alight, running very quickly out in front. They blast down the main straight on the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. The crowd is really enjoying the racing here tonight. They're standing up, they're screaming, they're chanting, particularly in this case because it's the local Queensland star, Jason Crump, leading this world-class field back down the main straight for yet another occasion. Magnificent close-up shot there of Jason Crump at work as he rounds now through the bottom couple of corners for the 2nd time in this one, and he keeps the left leg up on the foot peg there. That's the sign of a very good rider. He's not actually dragging the foot in the dirt. He's superbly balanced on the machine, and the Australian champion accelerates out of turn number 4. He takes a terrific win to start his evening's racing in a race time of 66.69. Ricardson 2nd, Simon Wigg 3rd.
Well, Jason, you must have been very pleased with that one.
I was, yeah. I mean, I had gate 4 and I didn't really know if I could make it off 4, but I'm pretty happy that I did.
So can you put some more wins together, you think, tonight?
I hope so. You know, I'm in front of my own fans tonight, and I want to give them something to yell and cheer about.
Next event now comes your way. Another quality bunch of riders to do battle. Sydney's Craig Watson rides in red from the inside. Jan Stackman from Denmark rides in blue from 2. The Perth-based rider Bartlett rides in white from 3. And Ollie Tavainen, the Flying Finn, rides in yellow from the extreme outside. We're set for a start. and away they go. A very good even start. In fact, Greg Bartlett, the West Australian, leads them on settling down. That's him on the inside in the white helmet colour, and hanging on the extreme outside is Ollie Tavain and the Flying Finn aboard the containers packaging machine. Now the dashing Dane Jan Stackman moves a lot closer. He slips up into third spot on the racetrack, and very close racing here in this event. You can almost throw a tally-ho paper over them as this field now rockets down the back straight. Greg Bartlett finding himself here under increasing pressure from the Finnish rider Ollie Tavain, and Jan Stackman, the Dane, is not too far away either. In fact, as I speak, Stackman now moves down on the inside and starts to apply the pressure to Ollie Tavain. Well, here they come, the handlebar heroes back straight away one more time, and Greg Bartlett, the West Australian, doing a fantastic job out in front. In fact, he may get home in this one. Out of turn 4 they run. Ollie Tavain still in second, Jan Stackman in third, as they now come down the main straight. The yellow flag on display. Well, this has been a terrific race here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. The West Australian Bartlett's a race leader. Tavain and Stackman are doing a terrific job battling for the minor placings, but the West Aussie rider Greg Bartlett's going to do it, much to the joy of the crowd here. He takes a checkered flag on display in a race time of 68.21. It was Bartlett, then it was Tavain and Jan Stackman.
Greg Bartlett, you must have enjoyed that one by the smile on your face.
Yeah, I did. I made a really bad start, but I got away with it going into the first corner, which was good.
You like the big fastness coming from Perth?
Yeah, and also right for Sheffield and England as well, which is a lot like this. It's just a big bowl, so it's good.
English commentator joining us tonight, Doug Adams in the pitch, speaking there with Greg Bartlett. Heat number 5 now. Ollie Tavain returns in red from position number 1. Sam Ermolenko aboard the Coney shock absorbers entry rides in blue from 2. Yuri Stancil for Greenaway straight rides in white from 3. And Peter Carlson on the split fire spark plugs entry starts on the extreme outside as we now go racing, and it is the Swedish rider Peter Carlson. Very smooth, very stylish this guy, and he jumped out of the tapes like a bullet out of a gun. He now leads them very comfortably as they head onto the main straight at the end of the first racing lap. Now the former American world champion Sam Ermolenko, the 1993 world title holders in second spot. That was Yuri Stancil we were looking at further back in the field. The man to watch here though is sudden Sam Ermolenko. In second place, he now tracks Peter Carlson back onto the main straightaway. They're only separated by a couple of metres. Now Ermolenko, one of the most exciting riders ever to throw his leg over a motorcycle in the last decade, is going to continue to apply plenty of pressure here. There he goes now, looking for an outside slingshot on the outside of Carlson. Now he switches lines and comes down on the inside of Carlson, and they are separated by merely inches as they rocket down the main straight. The yellow flag's been shown. It's the Swedish rider Peter Carlson. He's the race leader. The American world champion Sam Ermolenko will continue to try on the outside. You're watching them now. They're starting to close the gap. Ermolenko storming down on the inside, but Peter Carlson takes it. Well, you've got to give it to Sam Ermolenko. He never gave up there. In third spot, it was Yuri Stancil in a race time of 67.47 seconds. Well, good performance there by Peter Carlson. He certainly managed to hold the challenge of Sam Ermolenko at bay. Swedish champion in 1991, third in the World Team Cup in 1993, and second in the Swedish national title in 1995. The Series 500 promotional girls out in force here tonight. Major sponsor of this event for the second year running. Next heat now, and what a cracker field. Jan Stackman in red from the inside. Tony Ricard's in blue from 2. Marvin Cox in white from 3 as the tapes now fly. And another rider to watch is the dashing little Englishman. That's him on the outside, Andy Smith, aboard the Boral Energy entry, and he rockets around them. In fact, he went by on the outside of Jan Stackman so quickly that the Danish rider almost caught pneumonia with the breeze. Now look at Marvin Cox on the extreme outside. He cut around the outside of Stackman. Now he moves down on the inside of Andy Smith in one of the nicest pieces of speedway you will ever see. The Englishman takes the race lead. Englishman, but he lives in Germany, in fact, Marvin Cox, and they really are close together. Look at this speedway at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. You will never see better anywhere in the world as they work their way around this 400 plus metre circuit. It's only about 9 metres wide. It's one that needs to be respected, this circuit, lined by a concrete wall. No place for the faint-hearted. Your race leader is Marvin Cox. Well, that was a superb piece of riding by him. Approaching the end of the first lap, he went around the outside of Stackman, cut back, changed direction while he was riding at full pace, mind you, back on the inside of Andy Smith. That's the battle for second and third, and it's an intense battle too. Smith still has the best of it at the moment. Marvin Cox, another example of a fine rider, floats the left leg over the ground. He takes victory in a race time there of 67.63, defeating Andy Smith in second and Jan Stackman home in third place. There's the replay now. Man to watch, white helmet colour, Marvin Cox. Beautiful speedway outside of Jan Stackman. Now watch him change directions here. Does it with his body weight. Just shifts his weight, moves on the inside. for a slingshot. Beautiful stuff indeed, Marvin Cox.
Marvin, nice to get a race win under your belt. How do you feel?
Well, of course I'm happy. It's been very up and down too. I've had some good races and a couple of poor meetings. Had a food disease and had to pull out the meet in Gunnedah, and that night I also got the fastest time of the night, so it's the first win I've had for a couple of weeks, so it makes me feel good.
Marvin Cox been an outstanding performer in this 10-round series so far. This is now heat number 7, the 5-times world long track champion Simon Wigg aboard the Fraser Motorcycles. Torco Oils Jower starts in red inside. Craig Watson beside him in blue. Ryan Sullivan in white, and Lee Adams of the Series 500 Car Care Products Jower will start on the extreme outside. There they go now, and the crowd again jump up in their seats as the 5-times world title holder Simon Wigg, who finished second in this series last year, he now leads them. Look at Lee Adams, the Australian rider though, the former triple national champion. He now moves up on the inside, and I'll tell you what, there's no place for the faint-hearted out there. He and Ryan Sullivan, the reigning South Australian champion, are really turning it on here, and Sullivan on the left-hand side of your screen takes the ascendancy as far as that battle is concerned anyway, and as a result relegates Lee Adams back to third on the circuit, and Craig Watson is tailed off a long way further back in fourth. Well, Simon Wigg, the race leader, you're looking at the battle there between second and third. Ryan Sullivan has a look over his left shoulder. He discovered that Lee Adams is running on the outside of him though. There's the gap for Simon Wigg. Notice how he chooses to run up high on the circuit in quest of dirt. They've got to get their rear wheel up where the circuit's a little spongy, a little drivey. That's what it's all about. It's a little slick on the inside line. There's the battle still between Sullivan and Lee Adams. But Simon Wigg, the 5-times world champion from Buckinghamshire in England, is going to take an easy victory here. He does a checkered flag out for Simon Wigg, and then followed further back by Ryan Sullivan. Lee Adams' race time there was 67.74 seconds. Simon Wigg, one of the all-time greats of racing, world long track champ 5 times, been a 2-time winner of the British Speedway title, multi-talented, 6 times winner of the British Grass Track title, Commonwealth Speedway champion, and finished second in the World Long Track Championship last year. Now we move along to heat number 8. The all-conquering Craig Boyce aboard the Skill Engineering Series 500 machine lines up on the outside. Charles Ermolenko, the American. Jason Crump, the national title holder, aboard the O'Brien aluminium entry. He rides in white. And Greg Bartlett, the West Australian, who starts on the extreme outside. Did not get a good start there. Here we go now. The 2 top Aussies here. Boyce and Crump getting very close together there. No big partners as they work their way down the back straight the first time round. But it's the Sydney rider, the former world number 3 on the Skilled Engineering Series 500 entry. He takes the race lead. Relegates Jason Crump, doing it for O'Brien aluminium back to second spot on the circuit. That was nasty stuff down the back straight the first time. Nothing intentional by either rider. They just both wanted the race lead desperately and were not giving each other an inch. Main straight away they run one more time, and you're looking now at Craig Boyce on the left-hand side of your picture. He's the race leader. Beautiful action shot of Boycey there. He's over the top of the handlebars. He's being pursued now by Jason Crump, one of the most aggressive riders in World Speedway. In fact, a super young talent, Jason Crump. He is the reigning World Under-21 champion. He won that title in Finland in August of 1995. Half a lap now to go in this one. They've seen the yellow flag, and it's going to be Craig Boyce, one of the most aggressive rides of the night you'll see. He's going to take it here, and he does it convincingly. Checkered flag out for the Sydney side of Craig Boyce. He takes it ahead of Jason Crump. In third spot there, Charles Ermolenko, in a race time of 67.05 seconds. Let's take a look at the replay of that incident. First corner, look at this. Crump up on the inside of Craig Boyce. Boyce trying to put his foot down to get some balance. All he can find, though, is Jason Crump's engine. He can't find any topsoil. Oh, terrific stuff. Heat number 9 next on the program. Andy Smith, the Englishman, for Boral Energy, rides in red. Greg Bartlett for Tucker Time rides in blue from 2. Sam Ermolenko for Coney Shock Absorbers rides in white. And Simon Wigg, Fraser Motorcycles, Torco Oils Jower starts on the extreme outside. And a very even start. Now in this race we've got 2 world champions. Simon Wigg, the Englishman, he leads them in the green leathers. Look at Ermolenko winding it up on the inside. The 1993 world champion from California. And they come down the main straight. Absolutely drag racing. Terrific speedway here. Andy Smith in third. He's giving them plenty of cheek as well. Crowd here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground are screaming. 2 of the greatest riders ever to be seen at this circuit or indeed anywhere else in the world. Simon Wigg and Sam Ermolenko are turning it on. That's Andy Smith in the white leathers. He's running third. And the West Australian rider Greg Bartlett can't keep up in this one. You've got a couple of world champs up front, and they are doing it in sizzling style. Simon Wick, the race leader, Ermolenko in second. He moves up track now, and Andy Smith, the little Yorkshireman, he rockets through on the inside of the second spot, and he's now starting to apply plenty of pressure to the race leader, Simon Wick. Look at Ermolenko coming back on the outside. This is fabulous speedway at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. They now come off turn number 4 for the final time. It's Simon Wick. He comes down and takes it in a blistering performance. He defeats there a very, very gallant Andy Smith, followed further back in third by Sam Ermolenko. Race time 67.50. Well, what about that for Speedway? Look how close they got together there. The replay shows just how graphically and how close Sam Ermolenko and Wick were. Big crowd really warming to the occasion here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground tonight. This is now heat number 10. Jason Crump returns. He'll ride in red. Yuri Stancil from the Czech Republic rides in blue. Craig Watson rides in white from 3. And on the outside is Marvin Cox in yellow-black as we now get set for another race. And away they go. And it's the dashing Englishman, Marvin Cox. What a start he got. Now, you saw there a classic example of the benefits of starting from up high on the racetrack later on in the night. Marvin Cox had more dirt. He got plenty of drive and just boots away from them. Jason Crump is in second spot at the moment ahead of the Czech Republic rider Yuri Stancil. And Stancil came into this tournament as a debutant this summer and has performed with distinction. That's Marvin Cox now on screen. He's leading the race and leading it fairly convincingly. As I speak, Jason Crump now starts to close up the gap just a little bit. They work their way up the main straight, flush past our Cumbera with blinding speed. These bikes have no brakes. 500cc single-cylinder, 4-stroke machines. They weigh about 80 kilos. And they've got one of the most impressive power-to-weight ratios in any form of motorsport. Marvin Cox now leads them out of turn number 4. Yellow flag on display. Can Jason Crump, the reigning World Under-21 champion, do anything about the lead that man has got? Marvin Cox really setting this circuit alight in this race. He now pours off turn number 4 for the final time. And Marvin Cox is going to take a terrific victory. He's riding very well tonight. Jason Crump home in second, followed in third by Yuri Stancil. Race time there in a sizzler was 67.49 seconds. Wow, yes indeed. Trust you're enjoying the 10th round, the grand final of the International Masters Series. We're coming back shortly. This is the grand final of the Series 500 International Speedway Masters. It's all happening here tonight at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. David Tapp joining you from one of the world's great speedway stadiums. Now we move along to heat number 11 of what is 20 qualifying heats tonight. Charles Ermolenko aboard the Proven Products entry rides on the inside. Peter Colson for Split Fire Spark Plugs rides out of 2. Lee Adams, Series 500 Jower out of 3. And Flag International sponsored Jan Stackman on the extreme outside. In fact, Stackman riding the spare machine owned by Jason Crump. And look at this speedway as they head down the back straight. The very talented Swedish rider Peter Colson is the race leader. Keep your eyes on Lightning Lee Adams, the former World Under-21 champion who hails from Mildura. He's now fallen back into third spot. He's been given the go by that very popular Danish rider Jan Stackman. That's him on the left-hand side of your screen, the yellow-black helmet colour. Stackman was very lucky to survive a bone-jarring crash in round 7 of the series conducted at Geelong Raceway in Victoria, but he's up, he's quite okay, and as you can see, he's racing like lightning here tonight. He's got a bit of work to do though, because that man, Peter Colson, on the Spitfire entry is really working the circuit over at the moment. Jan Stackman though continues to serve it right up to the Swede. The two Scandinavians run almost side by side in this World 500cc series. Yellow flag on display, Colson race leader, looking now for Jan Stackman. He decides to switch lines, does he? No, he thinks the better of it, and Peter Colson might be too hard to stop here. He pours out of turn number 4 for the final time, and he's going to take it. What a terrific ride by Jan Stackman in second place there. A big result in a race time of 68.15, and Doug Adams is now going to chat with Peter Colson.
A good race win. You must have enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that's right. I got it together now for 2 races, you know, and just a shame on the first heat. Got to try and win the next 2, and we should be in the A-final.
Next event, heat number 12. Ollie Tavanen rides the Containers Packaging Jower in red from 1. Craig Boyce Skilled Engineering Series 500 Jower in blue. Tony Rickardson O'Brien Aluminium Jower from 3. And Ryan Sullivan starts on the extreme outside in yellow. We've got the current series leader here in Craig Boyce and the defending series champion in Tony Rickardson. Away they go now. Gee, Ryan Sullivan got a good start on the outside. Have a look at Craig Boyce working away at him. And there goes the super sweet Tony Rickardson. He barnstorms up on the inside and pushes both riders up track. Ryan Sullivan's not going to cop it though. He fights back on the outside. Well, look at this speed Speedway, will you? Absolutely world class. Rickardson's the race leader. A graphic shot there of the 25-year-old Swede. He's in command of this race. Craig Boyce now. He has a look down on the inside, and he and Rickardson touch elbows and exchange paint and tyre brands as they work their way down the main straight. Ryan Sullivan, he's making one heck of a race out of this one as well. He's in third on the circuit, but look at Tony Rickardson. Oh, Craig Boyce there has broken down. The skill engineering entries packed it in. Bad luck for him. Well, that could be a boil over here tonight. He does not need to drop points, and Craig Boyce is now going to find himself a very tough task here tonight. But Tony Rickardson, there he is, the defending Series 500 title holder. He is certainly going to take the race win here. Fortuitous slightly because Craig Boyce was throwing down a major challenge. He takes the checkered flag, Rickardson. Ryan Sullivan in second, Ollie Tervain in third. Great ride by Rickardson, but bad luck, Craig Boyce.
Craig, an unsatisfactory situation for you there in that particular race.
Yeah, a bit disappointed, you know. I thought I had Tony, I was in second, and the bike kept dying. I think the engine seized, so out of luck.
Yes, out of luck, but what about Tony Rickardson, 25 years of age, two-time winner of the Swedish Championship, World Team Cup champion on 2 occasions, World Speedway champion in 1994. He finished second in 1995, and he won this title last summer in Australia. Now moving forward to the next event on the program, and what a beauty it promises to be. Ryan Sullivan returns. He rides in red from 1. Jason Crump, O'Brien Aluminium GM in blue. Jan Stackman for Flag International. And Sam Ermolenko aboard the Coney Shock Absorbers GM. We now go racing, and the Australian World Under-21 champion, Jason Crump, leads them down the back straightaway the first time. Great speed shot that, as they blast back to pass the camera on the back straightaway. Jason Crump is your race leader. Now 1 metre separates he from his nearest rival, Sam Ermolenko. Now you've got to keep your eyes on Ermolenko. He's one of the few riders in the world that's prepared to run anywhere on the circuit. If he needs to scrape the boards and go by on the extreme outside, he'll do exactly that. Crump's the race leader as they now approach the end of this lap, and look at Sam Ermolenko. He now starts to work his way down on the inside. They must have a lot of faith in one another, these two, because they're deciding to run very close on the circuit. Sam Ermolenko, though, very aggressive. Crump has a look on the left side, and he sees Sutton Sam storming down, and this is what you call a pressure cooker for the young Australian. He's the race leader. He's got one of the all-time great Speedway riders working him over on the inside, on the outside. It doesn't matter. Crump's the race leader. Look at Ermolenko now. He decides to blast around the outside. Now he cuts back down on the inside. They are handlebar to handlebar. Checkered flag on display. Who will it be? Crump got there. What a ripper. Jason Crump, the Aussie, defeating the American in a race time of 67.25. Now look at this replay. You won't see better speedway. I know I've already said that a few times today, but this is just what life's all about. If you want to see motorbike racing at its very best, this is the last corner. Ermolenko cuts down on the inside. Now there's a problem here. I've just had word that the referee is not happy because of that. Because Sam Ermolenko has actually found himself skipping across the grass in the closing stages of that race. Crump may have turned left on him though, and now the scene's back in the pits. Well, Jason Crump is appealing to one of the stewards there in the pits. He's saying he was on the grass, he was on the grass. Well, our replay did show that. I don't believe Ermolenko is at fault though, because he really had nowhere else to race. Well, there is Sam Ermolenko. He's a cool customer. He's explaining to Jason Crump what happened there. Well, here it is again. You be the judge. Word here at the exhibition ground is that Ermolenko has been excluded. Doug Adams.
Bit of a horrible decision from your point of view there. It looks like you've got disqualified. How do you feel about that?
Well, I haven't yet officially heard that I've been disqualified, but if they disqualify me for that, that's out of line, because Jason knew I was coming up the inside and I had more speed than him, so he was clamping me. And I did make a move in turn 3 of the last lap and went up high and tried to get him to think, and he moved out. So as soon as he moved back, I turned back, and then he realized what I was doing. He went straight to the inside and I had nowhere to go. I mean, you're not going to turn the throttle off. I just rode my line. I rode where he let me ride. And if I get excluded for that, I think the whole program's wrong.
Well, I can only agree with that. We have had confirmation he has been excluded from that race, or from the points of that race anyway. And in my view, that's totally wrong. as we now advance to the next heat. Number 14, Marvin Cox rides in red from the inside. Ollie Tavainen rides in blue from 2. Charles Ermolenko in white from 3. And Simon Wigg returns aboard the Torco Oils Fraser Motorcycles Jower. That's him on the extreme outside in the yellow-black helmet colour as we go racing one more time. Heat number 14 of 20 qualifying heats here tonight. Then there'll be 4 finals. Wigg is under increasing pressure from Marvin Cox aboard the Sutton's Homebush GM. He rockets up into second spot on the circuit, and they are fairly close together. Having said that, though, Simon Wigg has certainly got the superior drive out of turn number 2. He's got the rear wheel in plenty of dirt, and he's absolutely flying, the 5-times world champion. Marvin Cox trying extremely hard in second spot. Further back in third, in fact, there's Brent Collier, the reserve, who got the start in this one. And forget about the other rider back straight away now. Look at the classic style of the legendary Simon Wigg. Isn't he riding quickly? I'll tell you what, no place for the faint-hearted here. Marvin Cox made a very courageous charge there on the inside. Out of turn number 4, yellow flag on display. This one might not be all over just yet. Marvin Cox grinding away at the inside of Simon Wigg. Again, superb speedway here. Cox you're looking at in second spot, but the Englishman Simon Wigg is going to take victory here in heat number 14. He comes out of turn 4 and takes it. Marvin Cox in second. Very close for third. It was in fact Charles Ermolenko that got it right on the line in a race time of 67.25. Well, heat number 15 sees Greg Bartlett riding in red. Lee Adams from position 2 for Series 500. Then Tony Ricardson on the O'Brien aluminium entry. And Georgie Stansel on the extreme outside from the Czech Republic. The tapes once again fly. Well, the crowd here tonight at the Ekka have certainly had their money's worth. Look at the West Australian rider. It's Greg Bartlett. He has been one of the most improved Australian riders over the past 12 months, and that's why he was an automatic selection in the travelling Super Troop to contest this 10-round series. Once again, we're seeing a wonderful exhibition of speedway racing here by the world's best riders. The Australian rider is now being worked over by that man in the purple leathers, Tony Ricardson, the 1994 world champion and reigning world number 2. He's in second. Lee Adams from Mildura in Victoria is running third ahead of Georgie Stansel, the Czech Republican, as we now head down the back straight of the circuit here at Brisbane Exhibition Ground. And Ricardson is really starting now to test the young West Australian rider Greg Bartlett. They're separated now by a couple of metres as they head onto the main straightaway. This will be the yellow flag signifying one lap of the exhibition ground to run. Tony Ricardson is trying to find some drive up on high on the circuit. He won't find it there tonight, though. It's a little bit on the slick side of this track. Greg Bartlett is certainly going to lead home the 1994 world champion. And the Australian pulls off probably the biggest win of his career. He takes it in a beauty. Ricardson was second. Then third was Lee Adams at a race time of 68.04. Now advancing to heat number 16. Peter Carlson, the Swede, rides in red from position number 1. Andy Smith rides in blue from 2. Craig Boyce returns again. He rides in 3, and young Craig Watson rides on the extreme outside. Let's see how it pans out. It's the enforcer. Sydney's Craig Boyce gets an electrifying start and heads this quartet down the back straight the first time. Well, he really needs to pick up a valuable 3 points here, given the fact that his engine expired in his last heat. It looks as though he's rectified the problem, or indeed he's on his spare machine. Good speedway, a good battle for the minor placings between the man in the red helmet colour, Peter Carlson, and look at the little Yorkshireman, Andy Smith, now winding up for an outside pass. They don't come much braver than the point-sized pocket rocket, little Andy Smith. He gets right around the outside there and takes second spot off Peter Carlson. Well, that was beautiful speedway indeed. And now the little Englishman Andy Smith sets his sights on the territory of our race leader, currently enjoyed by Sydney's Craig Boyce. Good shot there of Andy Smith over the top of the handlebars. Craig Boyce has a look over the left shoulder. He's got plenty of breathing space in this one. Yellow flag on display. There's one lap of the Brisbane Exhibition Ground to run. You're watching the 10th and final round, the grand final of the $1 million Series 500. And Boyce has got problems. He's broken down again. And Andy Smith, the Englishman's going to take the win. Oh no, that's going to cause enormous amounts of pressure for Boyce. Remembering he was leading the series by 19 points. Andy Smith gets here in a race time of 68.13 seconds. Well, again, Craig Boyce's misfortune has been someone else's fortune. There's the stats for Andy Smith, the diminutive little rider, 3 times winner of the British title, and the first Englishman ever to do so.
Andy, you're one of 3 riders now with 10 points in the last round of races for the qualifying for the A final. Can you make the A final?
I want to do, yeah. I want to go away on a high.
Yeah, but in the last one, I believe, you're up against a young fellow called Jason Crump.
Yeah.
Can you beat him?
Yeah.
Good for you. Why not? Back to you, David.
Thank you very much, Doug. Poor old Doug over on holidays from England tonight. We've snared him, and he's doing a fabulous job for us in the pits there, talking with Andy Smith. Sam Ermolenko, Charles Ermolenko, his brother, Craig Watson and Tony Ricardson line up in this one. Ricardson, O'Brien, Aluminium Jower, extreme outside. Man to watch here, fallout journey, takes now fly. Huge crowd here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. Around 20,000 people as we go racing side by side. 500cc Speedway style. And it's the super sweet Tony Ricardson who shook off the challenge of Charles Ermolenko. Here comes his elder brother now. Sutton Sam storming up on the inside line. And young Craig Watson having a bird's eye view of that battle as he whips in the force and back straight away. Now they run. That is Sam Ermolenko aboard the Coney shock absorbers entry. He's got plenty of horsepower in that machine. And he sets his sights on the territory of our race leader. That man there, Tony Ricardson, main straight away. Oh, Ricardson picked up some drive there. Machine got out of shape, but he gathered it in one more time. And Sam Ermolenko, possibly the man to watch here. He stretches the horsepower down the back straight, opens the throttle as wide as it possibly can be opened. He's in pursuit of our race leader, Tony Ricardson. But I don't think the racetrack is playing into the hands of Sam Ermolenko tonight. He's a rider that likes to find plenty of grip. The racetrack serves a little on the slick hard side at the moment. A graphic shot there of the style of the 1994 world champ. Tony Ricardson now out of turn number 4 on the O'Brien Aluminium Jower. He takes a checkered flag for him. Ermolenko in second. In third spot it was Charles Ermolenko, and the race time there was 68.30 seconds. Heat number 18, Peter Carlson from Sweden rides on the inside line. Marvin Cox from England rides in the yellow helmet. Ryan Sullivan, the South Australian and national under-21 champion, rides in white. And Greg Bartlett, the West Australian, who's had a good night here tonight, he rides in yellow from the outside. Didn't get a great start. I'll tell you who did get a great start, though. The two up front, Peter Carlson and Marvin Cox are running side by side. Peter Carlson, the Swedish rider, he leads them now back onto the main straight first time round. Now keep your eyes on the man in second spot aboard the Sutton's Homebush entry, Marvin Cox. He tries and tries and tries, and he tries now to wear down the lead of Peter Carlson, the Swedish rider. He takes them down the back straight. This thundering field, 4 of them now work their way through turns 3 and 4. Greg Bartlett up running third. Marvin Cox has a little look over the left shoulder there, and he can see the hard charging Greg Bartlett. But Peter Carlson, that's the man there. He's your race leader. He will find himself, I believe, tonight in the A final. Now, bearing in mind the format for this innovative Grand Prix system is that they contest 20 qualifying heats. Each rider has 5 qualifying rides. The points they score as a result of those qualifying heats seeds them directly into either the D, C, B or A final. Obviously the top 4 riders at the end of the 20 qualifying heats get their way into the A final, and Peter Carlson will certainly find himself there tonight. He takes the victory out of turn 4. Marvin Cox in second, Greg Bartlett was third. Race time there, 67.98 seconds, and that was certainly a fairly brisk race time indeed. Now it's heat number 19, Lee Adams, former triple national champion for Series 500 car care products. Beautifully turned out team, well presented. He lines up Jason Crump beside him as we now go racing again. Ollie Tavainen, the flying Finn in the white helmet colour, and Andy Smith at the back of the pack. He didn't get a good start, the little Englishman. Here they come, back straight away, first time round. Lee Adams there picking up some drive. He lifted the front wheel, but the Queenslander finds himself in front of this pack. Jason Crump has a little look over the left shoulder. He can see the charge of the Light Brigade behind him. There goes Andy Smith now, whipping around the outside of Ollie Tavainen. That moves Andy Smith up one more spot into third. Look at Lee Adams now, working away down on the inside of Jason Crump. Well, what about this speedway tonight? It almost defies description. They have really been turning it on in the most prestigious speedway motorcycle tournament in this country. Race leader Jason Crump really under pressure of Lee Adams. He now sets himself up for an outside slingshot. I don't know if he's going to have the drive. They run very close together. Off turn number 4, Andy Smith also making a race out of this one. The 3 of them now separated only by metres. They've seen the yellow flag. There's now half a lap of this circuit to negotiate. And the O'Brien Aluminium entry. The rider is Jason Crump. He leads them. He's at the pointy end of this pack, and he's going to take victory in a cracker. Lee Adams very close in second spot. Then it was Andy Smith in third, and a race time of 67.97 seconds. What a beauty. Great racing here at Brisbane Exhibition Ground. Final qualifying heat, heat number 20. Craig Boyce needs a win here. If he gets the win, he'll make the B final tonight, and that will be enough to win the series. Let's see how it goes. Simon Wigg beside him, Jan Stackman and Yuri Stancil. They go racing. It was the Englishman, 5 times world champion Simon Wigg, that takes the race lead. There goes Craig Boyce there up on the inside, and Boyce looking for a way to pass Simon Wigg. He is the race leader though, the Englishman, and he carts this field back onto the main straightaway. Craig Boyce in second spot. Looks to be Jan Stackman, the dashing Dane, in third. Well, let's focus our attention up front. What can Craig Boyce do about the race leader Simon Wigg? He goes down on the inside now of the 5 times world champion. Wigg runs up high on the circuit. Craig Boyce might just have done it here. The crowd erupts. It's the Aussie, Craig Boyce. He takes the race lead. Slam down on the inside there of Simon Wigg. Wigg's not going to give in without a fight though. Craig Boyce is now cleared out on the Skilled Engineering Series 500 entry. Well, this could be enough tonight for Craig Boyce to clinch the victory in the $1 million tournament. He's going to find himself, I believe, in the B final. We'll check the points very shortly for you. But Craig Boyce down the back straightaway might just have an unassailable lead here. He's the race leader, not far to go now on this one. He looks over the pit fence, clenches his fist in sheer delight, and Boyce takes it. Up goes the crowd. Simon Wigg in second, Jan Stackman in third. The race time was 67.24 seconds. It's all happening here. The finals are next on the program. There's the replay of the Skilled Engineering Series 500. Australian rider Craig Boyce, arguably the top Australian rider in the world right now, down on the inside of Simon Wigg, and good night nurse it was after that. Terrific speedway here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. Keep watching whatever you do. The moment of truth is fast approaching. Welcome back. Now time to check the point score at the completion of the 20 qualifying heats. The A finalists tonight, headed by Jason Crump, who scored 13 points. Simon Wigg on 12, Peter Carlson 11, and Marvin Cox 11. In the B final, Andy Smith and Craig Boyce. Boyce obviously due to the fact that he failed to complete 2 races with engine problems. Tony Rickardson and Ryan Sullivan also in the B final. Greg Bartlett joined by Sam Ermolenko in the C final. And indeed, the other 2 contesting that event will be Jan Stackman and Lee Adams. And in the D final, the first event now coming your way, Ollie Tervainen, Yuri Stancil, Charles Ermolenko, and Craig Watson. The equation, as we advance now towards the final stages of the 1996 International Speedway Masters, is that Craig Boyce only needs to finish the B final, and he will win the $1 million championship. Well, you can feel the atmosphere here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. Something very special is about to happen. Craig Boyce, as I just said, has qualified for the B final. He's going to win the International Masters, I feel sure. In the meantime, the D final, a 5-lap journey here. Ermolenko, Tervainen, Stancil, and Watson We Go Racing. I refer to Charles Ermolenko. He starts on the inside line for Proven Products, and he got an outstanding start. Heads down the back straightaway for the first of 5 racing laps. Pretty tightly packed as they run through there. Skating around the outside is the youngster, Craig Watson from Sydney, who's been riding as a wild card in this tournament and has really done a fabulous job for a rider so young. He's up running second. That's the battle now between the American Charles Ermolenko and Craig Watson. Now we've got Georgie Stancil, the rider from the Czech Republic, the debutant in this series, who's done a fantastic job thus far. He's up running third, and poor old Ollie Tervainen, he's having some nightmarish problems today, mechanically speaking. He's running back further and forth. Well, they now race around the Brisbane Exhibition Ground for yet another occasion, and your race leader is Charles Ermolenko. He would dearly love to go out a winner tonight in the D final. He's had a very ordinary series so far, I've got to say, way below expectations, and Charles Ermolenko heads them back down the main straight. There's 2 laps now remaining in this, the D final for the qualifiers that finished in the bottom 4 here tonight at the completion of the 20 qualifying heats. Ermolenko is your race leader. He looks very smooth out there. I'll tell you what, Georgie Stancil, the Czech Republic rider, is taking the event right up to him though. Yellow flag now on display in the D final, in the 10th and final round of the $1 million Series 500 International Speedway Masters. That's the style of the man that's going to emerge victorious in this one, Charles Ermolenko, out of turn number 4, and the man they call Dukey, he's going to take it, and as a result the checkered flag greets him. A good ride by him. In second spot it was Georgie Stancil, followed further back in the field by Craig Watson and Ollie Tervainen. Now moving forward, C final, Greg Bartlett rides in red, Sam Ermolenko in blue, Jan Stackman in white, Lee Adams in yellow. I cannot believe that Sam Ermolenko and Lee Adams have only managed to qualify for the C final tonight. Ermolenko can certainly... Oh, he goes down, Sam Ermolenko, on the race start there. First corner bunching. I was about to say the reason he's in the C final is because of the fact that he was excluded from that race, that memorable race with Jason Crump. Here's the replay now. Keep your eyes on Ermolenko, second from the inside line, blue helmet colour. They just got too tightly bunched, and down the American went. Dusted, busted and disgusted, but back up again, and he's quite okay, ready to resume the race. Restart now, a 5-lap journey, the C final, and it is the charismatic Californian, the 1993 world title holder, Sam Ermolenko, who has deserved better in this series to finish in the C final at the end of 10 rounds. He has been the winner of 3 rounds of this tournament. Look at Lee Adams, the Australian rider. Now winds it up on the outside of Ermolenko, and he said, see you, Sam. And now we see a new race leader here. It's Lee Adams, triple national champion, winner of the Australian crown in 1992, 93, 94. Then in 1995 it was Jason Crump. And the 1996 national title will be contested at the Newcastle Showground next week. But Adams, the race leader, also won the Commonwealth final in 1993 and the World Under-21 title in 1992. He's a class act, this boy, and they call him the Book because of his copybook style. Here he comes again, the never-say-die American Sam Ermolenko on the outside. He's going to go right down to the checkered flag with his battle. He just does not know what give up means, this guy. You're looking at the race between first and second. Ermolenko actually clouded the fence there. I'm not sure if it was his quick kick or the rear wheel, but sparks went flying off the concrete wall, and that certainly has slowed down his progress. Lee Adams is certainly going to win the C final in this, the grand final of the $1 Million Series 500 tournament. He only has now a couple of corners left to negotiate. I feel sorry for Lee Adams, only qualifying for the C final tonight. He's been better than that in this tournament. He takes the checker. Sam Ermolenko in second. Jan Stackman it was that finished in third in a race time of 1 minute 26.49 seconds. And there's the stats on Lee Adams, 24 years of age from Mildura. The Mildura Marvel, we call him. National champ 3 times, Australian champion 3 times, world finalist in 1993. Fabulous stuff and a great rider, Lee Adams. B final next on the program, but first, Doug Adams with Simon Wigg.
Simon, you must be very pleased to have got in the final after early apprehension and that 3rd place, but at last you've made it.
Yeah, that's right. The last few meetings haven't been particularly bright from my point of view, so I really intended to go out on a high spot tonight, and getting in the finals obviously the first part of that. Now you've got to just do the business in the big one, so hopefully they're going to do a bit of work on the track and make it a bit more raceable everywhere, and you know, we'll see what comes in the final. I'm going to be doing my best.
Yes, Doug Adams chatting with Simon Wigg a short time ago. He will be doing his best, as he always does. Finished second in this tournament last year. Now the B final, Tony Rickardsson, Andy Smith, and of course we've got Craig Boyce on the outside. If he wins this race, he is the champion for 1996. Atmosphere here, very, very special. It was Ryan Sullivan, the South Australian champion, that got the start. Tony Rickardsson working away down on the inside of him. Where is Craig Boyce? There he is, straight up on the inside. Well, absolute blatant arrogance there. Boyce just said, get out of my way, fellas. I'm going to take the race lead and win this championship. The crowd here in Brisbane are really on their feet. They're willing on the Aussie boy. Rickardsson has now fallen further back into second spot. He's under pressure from Ryan Sullivan. A 5-lap journey here. Craig Boyce has almost completed one. And what about this man? 28 years of age, Craig Boyce. Beautiful shot of him there. Coming onto the main straight. He's ridden in this tournament with so much confidence. He's done everything right. His preparation has been meticulous. Now watching Ryan Sullivan skating high, wide and handsome on the circuit. Tries to find a way past Tony Rickardsson. Blast down on the inside now of the Swedish rider. But Rickardsson still has second spot for the moment. Well, the crowd here can sense that this is history. The first Australian rider to win the $1 Million Series. Craig Boyce, look at him, he's celebrating already. Back straight away now, he leads comfortably. It's only going to be mechanical failure that'll stop the Sydney sider from winning the championship. He's got 1 lap or 400 metres before he creates history. Craig Boyce, he cruises down the back straight. He's got time for a look over the left shoulder. He's finished on the podium 8 of 10 times in this series. He is Boise the Magnificent. Off turn number 4, he takes it. He is the Series 500 champion for 1996. Up goes the celebrations. Well, he only made the B final tonight, but he's done enough to win it. The crowd here are giving Craig Boyce a standing ovation. This is what sport's all about. He's handed the Australian flag. This tradition started by Wayne Gardner way back at Phillip Island in 1989. And now Craig Boyce, another very proud Australian, on on top of the world. The crowd very generous in their applause, as they should be. He has been scintillating, absolutely superb. Presented himself with 2 brand spanking new motorcycles for this tournament. Spent big bucks on the machinery. Marvellous backing by his sponsors, Skilled Engineering and Series 500 Car Care Products. Craig Boyce is the winner of the 1996 Series 500 International Speedway Masters. We'll recap the points at the completion of the A final. The battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th in this tournament is still on in earnest and hangs very much in the balance. But Craig Boyce has done it. The pit crews, his fellow riders, waiting for him at the pit gate. This is tradition in World Speedway. Craig Boyce being thrown up in the air. This is what sport's all about, surely. The Aussie boy's done it, and the crowd here have gone absolutely berserk. Sam Ermolenko there, one of the first to congratulate him. Jason Crump, Simon Wigg there now as well. Marvin Cox also with his back to the camera. The 28-year-old Sydney-sider Craig Boyce has won the biggest event, the biggest win of his illustrious career. Finished 3rd in the 1994 world title. I'll bet this beats it. Listen to the crowd. Fantastic stuff there. Well, the shivers are running up and down the spine. A final, different set of circumstances tonight with the man that's already won the series not in the A final. I'll tell you who is, though, the top 4 qualifiers: Simon Wigg, Marvin Cox, Peter Carlson and Jason Crump, the lone Australian representative. A 5-lap journey, 20 valuable series points up for grabs here, and look at them go up front, and it's Simon Wigg. He began like a gazelle, also quickly in the stride Marvin Cox. Cox takes the race lead. Look at Simon Wigg. He went from the outside back to the inside in one of the best passes you will ever see. He takes the race lead. Marvin Cox now serves it right up to him on the inside line. 2 very fired up, very determined English riders here. Where is Jason Crump, the lone Australian in this race? He's 3rd at the moment. Peter Carlson tailed off. I can't believe that move of Simon Wiggs at the end of the first racing lap. He was on the outside. He cut back on the inside. We'll see a replay at the end of this one. It's the Fraser Motorcycles Torco Oils Jower of Simon Wigg. He looks as though he's going to win the last A final in the 1996 World Masters Series. Marvin Cox in 2nd. It's still Jason Crump. Go, Jason, go. He's in 3rd, the Australian trying extremely hard. He's got the 2 Englishmen ahead of him. Wiggs the race leader. Not far to go in this one now. Marvin Cox still tracking him, still trying very hard. They turn the throttles on, accelerate up the main straight. Look how high up on the circuit Simon Wigg is racing. He's keeping the rear wheel in the dirt. This one's not over just yet. Marvin Cox continues to try in 2nd spot. Jason Crump is also trying very hard. Last couple of corners now. Simon Wigg, the 5 times world champion. Marvin Cox has broken down. Bad luck for him. That moves the others up 2 more spots. Simon Wigg, the winner there. Simon Wigg, the winner of the last A final. Jason Crump 2nd. Peter Carlson 3rd. What a night of Speedway here at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground. Magnificent ride there by England's Simon Wigg. Here comes the replay. Look at him on the outside, switches and goes straight back to the inside, almost takes Jason Crump out. Crump did marvellously well there. A great race, and very bad luck for Marvin Cox, breaking down about 100 metres away from the line. Now time to recap the point score at the completion of 10 rounds. Sydney's Craig Boyce, the winner, the champion of the Masters Series for 1996 on 162. Then Sam Ermolenko, the American, on 138. Tony Rickardson, the Super Sweet, on 136. Jason Crump, 134. Simon Wigg, 127. Then Lee Adams on 125. Peter Carlson, Marvin Cox, Ryan Sullivan and Greg Bartlett rounding out the top 10. Well, there's no doubting the class of Simon Wigg emerging victorious in tonight's 10th and final round of the $1 million Series 500 International Masters. But it was Sydney's Craig Boyce, who didn't have the best of luck tonight, that finished on top of this marvellous tournament. Craig, congratulations. What a feeling.
Yeah, Dave, words really don't explain the feeling. Hasn't sunk in just yet, but I think in a couple of hours' time it'll really hammer home. And it's a really special night here tonight for me to win the series. Like it's the most important win in my Speedway career that I've had, in front of home crowd, in front of sponsors, in front of friends, family. It's great to win in Europe, but geez, it was great to win the series in Australia.
Congratulations, Sydney's Craig Boyce, former world number 3. He's now back on top of the world, winning this $1 million tournament. Trust you've enjoyed this very special motorsport presentation on Sports Australia. Until next time we go around, take care and drive safely.